we're back on the show. Talking Sunderland and everything you know.
Conrad's got the numbers, proper stats machine. Mike's optimistic, living out the Mackems dream. Bowers keeps it steady, cool and level-headed. Wayne's already moaning, man, I'm shattered, I need my bed.
Baby, are you ready to go? Let's get carried away, man. Let's steal the show. Midweek Mackems every Wednesday night. Veterans, passion in the red and white.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Not So Midweek, End of Week Mackems this week. It's good to have everyone here apart from our stats machine. So if you want to talk about stats, then you're in the wrong place tonight. We've no Conrad. Wayne, how are you doing?
I'm very good, mate. Thank you very much. Like you see, end of the week. It's a bit of a strange one on a Friday night, but all it means is there's no early bedtime because I'm off tomorrow. So happy days. But don't get carried away. Don't get carried away.
So welcome to the 7-hour special Midweek Mackem Marathon. I've got my energy drinks ready. There we go.
I've got me Guinness Zero there. Oh, I'm happy. I'm prepared.
Pushing the boat out. Michael Bowers, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. Are we just getting Wayne's OnlyFans ready? And we getting him keeping on for a nice little SJ, you're going to get your wish, mate. You might get a longer stream now.
There you go.
But I'm doing all right. I'm not doing too bad. Yeah. So thanks very much to the lads because obviously, yeah, it's been a bit weird having a Wednesday. The intro's false advertisement. It says every Wednesday night, but obviously this week it wouldn't have been. So that was a great load of fun. But and it would have been last night. But I dared to have plans. So that's why it's tonight instead.
How dare you, Michael?
I know,
How
absolutely.
dare
How dare I not need my bed every night? But you know, but yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm all right, apart from Sunderland at the moment, you know.
Yeah, so basically, how's the European challenge going at the moment?
It's all right. It's just a blip. It's just a jackalous blip. It's a jackalous blip.
Wayne, this is where he's going to go. Right. Well, we're going to beat Fulham. We're going to beat Bournemouth. We're going to beat Leeds. We're going to beat Brighton. We're going to win at the Mags. We're going to win the FA Cup. Yep, he's going to go all over, isn't he?
A late run to the end of the season. That's what's going to happen.
We're finishing in Champions League places, apparently.
Listen. We've. I think within the next 5 games, we're going to cement our place. We're going to get to that magical 40-point thing that you guys have mentioned. I'm not nervous at all about a relegation battle at this stage. That's the only thing I'll say. I'm going to stop banging on about Europe after going to my first loss at the Stadium of Light. So
I mean, to be fair, you have seen win 2 games won. So you've seen 2 wins and a loss. So
yeah,
if we lose against Fulham, then questions might have to be asked.
You're banned.
I'm banned.
Then it's even itself up. I mean, what would happen if it's a draw though? So I mean, we just say Mike can still keep going because he's got 7 points from the 12 games from the 4 he's watched. It's all right.
He can come, but he's going in the nosebleeds.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right, let's go back in time to the 7th of February and our trip to Arsenal. Yes, we have to. Before you ask, do we have to? Yeah. So, I mean, Wayne, come to you first. Always going to be a difficult game away. We know Arsenal's a great team. We did really well at our place, but going there away is always going to be difficult. Do you think we set up right for it?
Well, this Trey Hume scenario obviously is a conversation that every Sunderland fan having at the moment. Some are agreeing, some are not. Me personally, I didn't agree with him playing in midfield. But as it happens, I thought we actually played well at Arsenal. I thought what we haven't been doing in previous away games is we haven't been attacking teams. We've been letting them go, like, kind of go down before we've woken up. So it was good to see us on the front foot. But the lineup, I'm not convinced. I'd much rather see a natural player in there. I can see why he's got him in there to give us a bit extra bite in the absence of Xhaka. But we've got Siddiqui and Diarra in there that can do that. So for me, he needs to play, the players in the proper positions. And Hume is not a midfielder, simple as. And even though he gets himself in some good positions, he doesn't out with it. So, but on the whole, I was pleased with the rest of the team.
Michael, what was your thoughts on the lineup? Obviously, I mean, it's pretty standard when you've not got Xhaka how it's going to line up each week. But Hume, it's really odd fudging him in there. What's your thoughts on it?
my first thought when I saw lineup was, why the hell is Gertruida not playing? Yeah. If I'm honest, that was kind of my
after the transfer battle to keep him technically.
Yeah. Well, exactly, and I just felt like, well, what was the point in keeping him if we're barely going to use him? Now, saying that, I think I understood not starting him in the game against Burnley, because that's one where Sunderland are going to be on the front foot. You're expected to dominate the game, because I know Burnley won the other night, but let's be honest, barring a miraculous escape, they're still getting relegated, and they will more than likely finish second bottom at least. So I think I understood it there, and especially being at home as well, even though I wanted Couture to start in there as well. I don't get it. I mean, not to talk about Liverpool too much at the minute, but I didn't get for either of these last two fixtures why Gertruida wasn't playing, because I feel like for a game where we're going to likely be underdogs, well, not likely, we are going to be underdogs, where we are going to be against teams that have much superior quality, have more of the ball, have been way more established, not just for the length of time we've been out of the Premier League, but for the last few decades. For me, I think it was poor not to have Gertruida in there. Other than that, like Wayne said, I was actually pretty pleased with the rest of the lineup. Apart from the fact that, and it's not against Hume, I like Trey Hume a lot, and I think he has stepped up, but I think he's not a midfielder and he's not a winger. So like, that's the thing I don't get. I mean, and I like what Wayne said about, say, for example, when he pissed everyone off by saying the Faye doesn't get into our best team when everyone's fully fit. You'd probably say, I'd say that about Hume. I love Hume, but if everyone's fully fit, I don't think he gets in our starting 11. Not that he's a bad player, by the way, because I really do like him.
And we'll stay on Hume for a second then. Is it he's just not that player that can play in that position, or is it the weight of the captain's armband? Because I know some players, it can weigh heavy on them and it throws them off their own game completely. Because for me, it's not Hume looking completely lost. It's not Hume not managing to tackle. It's Hume just making silly mistakes that you wouldn't expect a player at this level to make. Do you think it's the captaincy, Wayne?
Again, that's a strange decision by Regis de Vries to make him captain, especially when you've got players like Nordy, Ballard, Alderete. You know, I'll be captain to make Hume captain as well is a strange one. Is it a case of he just being loyal to the players? You know, we had Dan Neil captain last season, the local lad. Trey Hume's been there a long time. He's probably the most experienced out of all the players that we've got in now the club. So I didn't know. It's a very strange one for me. I wouldn't have made him captain, but he seems to be a Regis de Vries favourite, doesn't he? He seems to show on him in and just will not drop him, or will not, you know, if he's going to play him as a wing back or in that back four, which he just doesn't want to do. So the captaincy certainly won't help, because even in games you didn't see him talking to people, you didn't see him shouting off and mouthing and organising things like Xhaka. So why make him captain?
Yeah, communication has definitely been off. It's definitely one thing we're lacking without Xhaka there. You could see when he's not there, you could see how much he orchestrates it. And Michael, that Arsenal game would have been perfect for Xhaka, right? And I think we held our own up until about 40 minutes. We weren't looking like completely terrible up until like 40 minutes. And when they scored the goal, that's when you need a leader like Xhaka on the pitch, right? To pick them up. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for Xhaka, I mean, what a bigger game it would have been going back to Arsenal. You know, that was a game I'm sure he would have been looking forward to playing. And I agree with you, actually. I don't even think just till 44 minutes. I actually say till Arsenal's second goal. I thought we looked well within the game, and I thought we actually played really well. But in response to it, yeah, I mean, the first 40 minutes is typical because the lovely legal means by which I was watching this game, I barely saw much of the first half. So I'm going purely off word of mouth here, but from what I did see, the chance Robbie had, I think it was like within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
There was that one. There was a chance that I think Mukiele had at the end of the first half, although it's kind of a half chance really, where he sort of heads it out. I think it was for a goal kick or whichever it was. Why am I getting the feeling, because Mike's muted himself, that I've mentioned Robbie, that he's looking for the clip of Mr. Blobby?
No. I've got a child that's not happy about being in bed in the background. That's all.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But yes, so I think. But from what I did hear, the first half, we did not disgrace ourselves. And I would extend that even as far as the first 20 or so minutes, 15, 20 minutes of the second half as well. But obviously, when you have a strike like what Zubimendi did, like, you know, that's the quality you're up against. You're up against the team that has every chance of going on to win the Premier League. And only Man City is going to compete with them, really, I think, towards the latter run of the season. So, yeah, we held our own. We did more than right. But you are right. When we went 1-0 down, that's when Xhaka would have been particularly handy to sort of remind people just to stay in it, keep it at 1-0, and then you've got a chance later on of nicking something.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you. Performance-wise, it was never one of those where I sat back and thought, "Oh, this is it. We're done now." The whole time, I thought we could get back in.
It wasn't a 3-0 game. I didn't think.
It definitely wasn't a 3-0 game. However, Wayne, do you think Labree's got the substitutions wrong again by taking off Talby, who seemed to be one of our threatening players, to bring on Mundle, who has been off form since returning?
I didn't get that at all. I think, my thoughts on Mundle. I just don't think he's Premier League quality. And when you're chasing the game at Arsenal, Remain Mundle to me isn't going to come on and change the game for you. Which I just find it. Yes, it's fresh legs, but it's just a strange decision. I thought Talby was playing well, but
it was 2 minutes after that they scored.
Aye. But I mean, even going back to the goal, I thought before the whole game, I thought we played really well. I thought we like I say, in games prior, we've started slow. We actually started to press them high. We played on the front foot and we got at them and didn't show them like the respect that we have shown other teams in the past. But the goal again come from a mistake from us. Alderete again, who's got that mistake in him once or twice a game. He'll do that. Did it against Liverpool during the week. He's got that mistake, that short pass, or he'll try a Cruyff turn somewhere and lose the ball, or he'll give a really awful ball. And as it happens, that's where the goal came from. And from there, you're up against it. But I just thought that probably a criticism of Régis Labreis over the past few games is his substitutions, which we'll touch on Liverpool in a bit. But the lateness of them, and there just don't seem to be a plan B, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, the subs in that game in general, just after the goal as well, he made 3 sets of subs. 2 were logical, Brobby for Isidore, which is, like for like in a way. Nilsson coming on for Hume, which we'll talk about Nilsson when we get onto the Liverpool game, because we saw a lot more of him there. And but bringing Gertruda on and taking Siddiqui off, it feels defensive when you're 2-0 down as well to me.
Yeah. Michael?
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one, right? Because generally on the subs thing, and I'm not trying to make light of this as a condition or anything, but it feels to me like, and the best way I can describe it is I feel Labreis has bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder when it comes to making substitutions. Because I think on some occasions he is very good at making them, and I think it sometimes has affected the game. Don't worry, mate, Rich, we will be discussing that, I'm sure. And then sometimes he drives me crazy with it. And obviously, I didn't notice it particularly as much at Arsenal, but it was more against Liverpool that it really got on my nerves with the substitutions thing. But I think to touch on something Wayne mentioned earlier, it's about kind of like the Régis favourite. I think once you're in that exclusive club, you're not going to get out of it, I think, are you? And I don't necessarily mind that. I like the fact that, you've got a set idea of what you want, but sometimes I feel like Régis frustrates me in this regard because I know he can be proactive when he wants to be. So when he's not, it's noticeable to me. So, I mean, I don't know what you think about it, Mike, but yeah, for me, I think sometimes his subs can be great and managing it, but sometimes for me, he's too reactive when it comes to not making them early enough.
Yeah, Miles of Sunderland has said, is Labrie missing his assistant?
That was one of the points I was going to raise tonight. Is it the fact that he's left last 2 games he's not been there, and has that had an effect? How effective was he behind the scenes? Is that a kind of a coincidence?
What do we know anything about that?
I just from Régis Labreis's press conference, he just kind of said that sometimes things don't work and people decide to go their own way. So I didn't know, reading between the lines, that something happened behind the scenes where he's had some ideas and that different to Labreis. I don't know. It's a bit of a strange one, but
it's easy to fall out with your staff when you're running a football team, I'll tell you. But yeah, I mean, we made Gyok look brilliant anyway with 2 goals for Arsenal. He hadn't scored much before then, and he hadn't done much before.
See, I rate Gyökeres, mate. I think he's a really good forward.
But with him, I'm surprised he wasn't playing, because we know what he's like in the Championship. He always scored against us for Coventry. I'm surprised he wasn't playing from the start. And when he came on, but again, that second goal could have been avoided. As he scored twice, I've seen that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Mike's brothers just sent me that, funnily enough. But yeah, I was going to say, I just messaged to him saying, well, that's good because it'll increase his value in the summer.
Yeah.
So he wanted to do well for that reason, get our money back.
We probably already set the price.
The second goal could have been avoidable.
Oh, the second goal annoyed me.
Again, it's an error from us. You know, Nordy's got a chance to clear the ball. He doesn't. That extra split second where they get pinned in, it's a poor clearance, and then the ball gets played inside. Alderete, when Gyökeres gets to shoot, why Alderete decides to jump to the left instead of going towards the ball, I didn't get to put a block on it. But again, two errors from us to give them 2 goals.
Yeah. I've just seen your comment there, Jeffrey. I'm pretty sure you're talking about the Liverpool game. So I'll highlight.
Let's quickly add on to the second goal. I think the first and third Arsenal goals I could live with, because the first one, it's a fantastic hit from outside the box from Zubimendi, and the third one, that happens when you're 2-0 down, you're trying to get back into a game, and it's a breakaway that just happens. Fine. Yeah. But that second goal annoyed the hell out of me. And I've seen some people go, yeah, I like the fact we're trying to play out from the back and not just hoof and launch it. But what I disagree with that quite passionately, because for me, if Mukiele hoofs it in that moment, that buys you probably an extra 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And that's so massive to get back into shape and keep Arsenal out of it. And then later in the game, yes, okay, Arsenal could score at any given moment, but that then gives us the chance at 1-0 to get something. But because he was dilly-dallying with it and messed it up and gave it straight to Arsenal, they've gone and killed the game off effectively.
But just like our formation, like the last few seasons has been so rigid, our formation recently has become more fluid, and we're seeing that with the team, which has worked well for us. Instructions like that should also be the same. We seem to have this thing like, okay, this game, we're going to play it out from the back all the time. Keeper's always going to play it short. And even under pressure, he does the same thing. It's like, read the game and adapt.
But there's nothing wrong sometimes with going a bit more direct and going route one. Like, I mean, I like the fact that when it works, when we play off from the back, it's really good. The problem is when it doesn't, it gives me massive heart palpitations, and I don't like it. It makes me really stressed.
I didn't have any greys before the start of the Premier League season. I'm just saying.
That point started supporting Sunderland.
But what you're saying there, the Arsenal game, we did actually play a lot more long balls up to Brobby, and Brobby was causing Saliba a lot of trouble. I mean, Saliba got booked. He was causing them all sorts of trouble by getting that ball up to him early. So, but there's times and places too to start messing about. And when you're under pressure, you just got to get rid of it. And I think what you've been saying there about that fluidity, I think that's also causing problems, because Hume and Nordy sometimes are not sure who's meant to be picking who up, and they get caught out.
So this what I'll pull out, like if I was reading this from Labree's sideline at the moment, I mean, people might say, oh, they need to work on 6-yard passes because that's what seems to be goes wrong. It's not. I'll tell you, the one thing we need work on is communication on the field.
Yeah.
There's moments where nobody's even shouting man on or simple stuff like that. If the crowd's not there to shout it, then nobody's doing it. And I think it's a lack of communication. And we saw that. I know we're jibbing and jiving between the two, but we saw that in the Liverpool game when a ball came in, and between Roofs and Ballard, there was no communication. It almost really cost us that one. So, but yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, lost 3-0. Let's put that to bed. They are pretty much one of the top teams at the moment. So we performed enough. We did enough
enough there to be optimistic about.
Yeah, it wasn't. It looked 3-0 looks like a drumming. When you watch the game, it definitely wasn't that. So,
and by the way, just add, sorry, even Arsenal fans were saying that afterwards as well. It wasn't just us.
Yeah.
Do you think there were a quick one before we're gone? Do you think Reinildo should have been sent off?
Is this in the lead up to Arsenal's third goal when he could have had a second yellow or a straight red for the bringing down? Who was it? Was it Martinelli who set up Gyökeres?
But also when he practically kicked Gyökeres in the waist before he scored.
I didn't see any of that, Wayne. Don't know what you're talking about. That lad can't do anything.
You're doing classic Tony Pulis answer. Well, I conveniently didn't see that, so I can't possibly comment.
I trust the referee's decision on that one.
That's one decision I do trust the referee on. A lot of them I don't most of the time.
Midnight Social says, "Where's Conrad?" We don't know. We've lost him. He went to Arsenal. Watched us lost 3-0. He's been on a massive bender ever since. So.
Is that what...
I'm joking. He's on
are we also saying, by the way, so is it Conrad's fault then? So when Conrad goes to an away game when I don't, because we were both at Everton, we'll lose 3-0. So right, that's it. Although I am going to
I'm
leave.
sure Labrie and the staff will be happy that we're blaming ourselves and not them. So we'll go with that.
Yeah, I suspect that Reggie and their staff will not be watching midweek Mackems, but nice thought.
Let's move on to Liverpool.
Oh, do I have to?
A game I was nervous about. I went to Liverpool as well. I was there as well. And I was nervous about it because I felt like it was one of our biggest challenges at the Stadium of Light. Obviously, Arsenal was a challenge, but it's not a Stadium of Light. During this period where we've not got Xhaka. And that was my biggest fear. And I think that fear come to realization, the fact that when the midfield didn't get involved in the first half. I think we said it at half time on your match day vlog, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought the first couple of minutes we looked as well we were up for the game. I thought we started well, but after that, Liverpool just dominated the rest of the game for me. We were better in the second half, but the first half especially, they got their game plan spot on. They pressed us high. They stopped us getting out. We were forced to play it long to Brobby. Canate and Van Dijk are always going to win everything in the air against Brobby. He never got a look in. And the ball was just coming straight back time and time again. Down the right-hand side, Robertson, Gakpo, and then we're torturing, Nordy and Trey Hume, and we just couldn't get out. And then I'm surprised we got to half-time at 0-0 because the goal was coming all the way through. It was like, I think where you said squeaky bum time, all the way to that first half. They were just, they were good, didn't get us round. They were a good side. You can see they were a good side, and the shape they had stopped us from playing. They got the game plan spot on.
Yeah, they didn't feel very prolific or anything like that. I didn't feel like I was playing a top European, or the champions last year, essentially. I didn't feel like I was playing that team. Salah does not impress me one bit. I think he's massively overrated from what I've seen. But yeah, it was relentless shooting at us in that first half, Michael. Luckily you were looking from distance because you sit on the other side, but me and Wayne were like this. So
got your stress toy out. Just got
yeah. That's definitely what I'm talking about. Stress time.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know one of those things like when you have one of those watches that like tracks your steps and your heart and your blood pressure and going between 8 o'clock, 8:15 and 10:15, your blood rate and your heart rate, your blood pressure and heart rate were skyrocketed through the roof. I wonder why. I
was already at level 1 hypertension before getting into the ground. So
well, because the thought of no Granit Xhaka.
It's all right. By half-time, I had the cure-all for everything, a cup of Bovril, and I was fine.
Oh, nothing to do with alcoholic beverage, eh?
No, I was driving. So,
fair enough.
Michael Bowers, what do you think of the first half? Because, essentially, it was a good first half because we went in 0-0 against Liverpool.
On paper, yeah. But I think it's strange because the one thing that did annoy me a little bit, and it was across the whole game, not just the first half, I felt like we didn't utilize Szoboszlai not being there anywhere near enough as I think we could have done. And that was for me the one area of joy. I thought if we're gonna have a chance of getting anything, then it was gonna be good. Fair question, SJ. I hope not, but we'll see. But yeah, for me, the first 10 minutes, maybe the team got a sick note in on Wednesday night, to be fair. I think for the first 10 minutes, we pressed Liverpool quite well. I thought the first 10 minutes we actually looked really good. And we sort of let them know they're in for a tough game. They're in for a tough ride. We're not going to just bow down and roll over, hopefully. But as it turned out, we kind of did in the performance and for the rest of it. But I think across the whole game, but if you're talking specifically the first half, I think you could tell to me that Liverpool looked stung by what happened at the end of the Man City game at the weekend. And my only annoyance is that were we not expecting that? Were we not sort of braced for it, or we really should have been braced for it? But obviously, evidently, we weren't, or at the very least, we didn't anticipate them playing as well as they did. And it's weird because it was a stark contrast to the Liverpool team we played at Anfield, where I thought they looked very flat and lethargic, really. Here, I think here you could tell why Wirtz was over £100 million player. I thought Wirtz dominated the show, to be honest. I think Ekitike, you can tell he's a real handful. He's one of the best centre forwards in the Premier League.
Fast.
Fast. Yeah, and so I think not just for the fact he scored twice against them lot up the road, which was quite nice, but generally his performance impressed me a lot. And I agree with Mike. I think Salah didn't do all that much, but I think he didn't really have to because he could just basically afford to just stay high and wide effectively because Liverpool were just dictating a lot of the game and we weren't attacking them as much.
I thought stand by. Nobody's ever walked into a restaurant and asked for more salad. It's as simple as that.
But I do
very
think,
funny.
Other than Reinildo's fucking stupid yellow card, which was absolutely boiled my piss. I hate that, but
pointless.
I do think he played Salah quite well. I thought he had a decent game, Reinildo, but that yellow card, oh my God, stupid, because you're just on it the rest of the game against Salah on his game.
On a tightrope then, aren't you?
Aye.
Yeah. Shock. I was when he got that yellow so early on, and the fact he has to deal with Salah, I was expecting a red from him, to be honest. At some
point. Can I just say quickly, by the way, we need to be careful that we need to get to the next threshold and not get some of these guys on 10 yellow cards.
No,
because I think it's game week 30. Well, blame Phil Smith from the Sunderland Echo if this is wrong, but I'm pretty sure he said it was the 32 game mark. But so basically, we've got 6 more games until quite literally, SJ. Yeah,
from like granddad jokes. Actually, 2 of us are granddads. Actually,
oh Jesus Christ, that's even worse. But yeah, no. So I think it's just something we need to bear in mind. We just need to make sure that we can avoid these lads getting on too many yellow cards. I'm gonna have a quick look to see who's on how many actually. But go on.
Yeah. While you're doing that. Changing Crisis said we sat off Liverpool way too much and showed them too much respect. Where was the intensity like City or Arsenal? As soon as Liverpool scored, we pushed them back. And we did. It was, I mean, we came out, I think we came out a bit better with a bit more high press in the second half. And then when they scored, we really got the bit between the teeth. I mean, at one point, I captured it on my vlog, and it was just 3 or 4 opportunities at the same time, coming back out, back in, coming out. And if we just started like that, different game.
Yeah, and if we'd been given the blatant penalty on Broby's a different story as well, by the way. From my one, absolute storm when you see it back, absolute storm one penalty.
Did you hear about the VAR conversation being told about that as well?
I was baffled it wasn't used, mind, with VAR, but isn't that the type of thing VAR?
They used VAR
in the ground. I didn't think there was anything in it. I was like, why are people appealing? It's not a penalty, clearly. But obviously that's from the Southwest Corner's view. So to me, I didn't get the best view of it. Having watched it back on Match of the Day, I'm quite annoyed. I'm actually quite angry that we didn't get that penalty. And I'm like, well, yeah, would we have deserved to go in half-time? Not a cat and hell leading, not a cat and hell's chance if we scored that. But it doesn't matter. You've got to be fair in these sort of games. And I think, Brobby just, and it's something that actually really boils, to use Wayne's quote, boils my piss about how Brobby constantly gets manhandled and gets thrown around all over the place and gets nothing from the officials. Yeah. It's really infuriating. I don't know what more has he got to do. Has he literally got to twist his ankle in half and break his leg to finally get a foul or something? So, please don't do that, Brobby. Please don't. But like the point I'm making is that we shouldn't be having you shouldn't be having players get away with so much when they're trying to just manhandle him. And yeah, to me, it was an absolute. It was a Stonewall win. I agree. I think we got one robbed big time there.
That's Kavanagh. Kavanagh's a shocking referee to start with.
By the way, quickly, the yellow cards thing. So I found out. So Hume is on. Why is it? I always get loads of messages when I'm live. But anyway, no, there was. Hume is on 7 yellow cards, and Reynildo's on 6, and I think everywhere else is like 5s and below. So Hume and Reynildo, can you please walk a tightrope for the next 6-7 games?
Or Trey Hume, don't get yourself boots, or I might see him out the side for a bit.
I like your thinking. So what you saying? Okay, so against Newcastle.
I don't know. No.
Are you saying get yourself sent off before then? Give yourself 10 yellow cards before then, so you don't play against the Mags.
Yeah, we went backwards and sideways most of the night. I thought we were back in the Championship. Yeah, we did get the chop. I was trying to find the. I've got it somewhere, but I could try to find there's a snippets because they dissect the audio, and it pretty much said on the VAR that he hit his ankle, he got his ankle first sort of thing and pulled him down, but it's like for like because Brobby was pulling on him.
For like, he turned him. He literally turned him.
Yeah, so I mean, we seem to see that a lot with Brobby, and I do think sometimes if he didn't grab the shirt of the guy behind him, he'd get a lot of these decisions.
That's actually during the first or second half. Kavanagh actually said, he was doing that. That's why he didn't give him a free kick because Brobby's got his hand round the back. But that still doesn't excuse Konate and Van Dijk manhandling him. You know what I mean? That's just ridiculous.
I mean, maybe they just got a crush on Brobby. I don't know.
Maybe he's
good on them if they have done.
Saw his thighs and got hypnotized. There we go. There's got to be a song there somewhere, hasn't it?
Don't say it like that again.
Well, to be fair,
somebody work them lyrics up for me. Liverpool game, we never won a second ball until the 80th minute, says Gary Mullen. I think second ball things is like you said, Wayne. Well, I said as well on your vlog. The midfield wasn't there, and it wasn't just a case of they weren't getting it through us not passing, they weren't up for challenging for it, right? They weren't.
No.
You were watching Liverpool bring down a free ball without anyone contesting at points.
I thought Sadiki looked a little bit leggy. I thought on Wednesday, I thought he looked a bit tight, which is not like when normally he's out of the pitch. So
Yeah,
I thought he struggled. Lafia, I'm not going to criticise him too much because I'll get round, but he tried to get involved in the game. But I just thought that midfield, that McAllister, Wirtz, I just thought they dominated the midfield, and we just found it very difficult. Look, end of the day, Liverpool, the Premier League champions. On the day, just because they had Sobbers line up playing a few others, they're the champions for a reason, and they are a good side. So sometimes you have to accept that you get beat off the better side, but it's the way you get beat. And I just thought we could have been a bit more in the faces. Like Michael said earlier, that right-hand side for them, Endo is not a fullback, and we didn't use Angulo enough to get at him. Because when he did get the ball, he had a go at him, and we just didn't give him the ball enough.
Can we talk about him for a second, though? Because he looked like the most talented player on the pitch at one point, and even when he lost it, he was the one going back for it, and he did some beautiful work. I'm afraid. I mean, I can't slate him at all. He was superb on the day. What's your thoughts on him, Wayne? Getting it straight in for a start after this, it was his second game.
I'm pleased. I wanted to see him play, but I didn't want Talbot to be taken out. I wanted him on the right, him on the left, or him on the right, and Talbot on the left, and Hume to be missing out. But that's not the way it turned out. But I was impressed with him for his first start. He's only been at the club a few days, and he looks good. He looks a player. He's fast. He's direct, but he tracks back and he gets stuck in, which I liked as well. So on the face of it, he was our most dangerous player, probably our best player on the night. Good signs for the future. But I just think the balance of the side with him on the left and not a right winger was just all out.
Yeah. What do you think of the new player, this Nilsson, Michael?
I'll just call it
Nilsson and Wilson.
To be different. I mean, I like the look of him. I think he's got a good bit of trickery about him. And it's one game, and I try not to make judgments on players too quickly because I don't like people writing off players too quickly. So I can't go the other way and say a player looks good after one game. But from what I did see here, there is something there to work with. I think it comes back to the general conversation about our Rich. I completely agree with you, mate. It's really starting to get on my nerves now, the amount of stuff that Bobby doesn't get. But yeah, on to Angulo. I think he did look quite promising. But as you guys said, and as Wayne touched upon, one of you said, we didn't give him the ball anywhere near enough and we just didn't. And I thought we were going to try and overload Liverpool's right back position because I was thinking, well, come on, Szoboszlai being sent off should be a huge factor for us. But in the end, it wasn't. But as far as Angulo's concerned, yes, there is something there to work with. And I think what can be quite handy is, and Mike might want to cover his ears in the next few seconds, but if, say, we get past the 42 point mark, the rest of the season is a good opportunity to persist with Angulo and give him, right, we're going to be safe, we're not going down, we've got nothing to lose from here. Go and attack, go for it. Like, really give the rest of the season a chance for him to sort of bed into the Premier League, get used to it, and then next season is where you hopefully see him flourish more.
Yeah, I mean, I think he looks brilliant already. I think he looks like I wanted Mundell to look coming into this after the.
Can I just say, is it too early for me to say that I don't think Mundell will be good enough for the Premier League?
I don't think he is. I'm totally with you, Michael. I just don't. From what I've seen of him,
Somebody said before he needs to go on loan, which I probably tend to agree with. I wouldn't want to sell him, but definitely a loan would be good.
It just seems to me that from all the games I've seen in this season, he seems to have one trick, which is to jink inside. Fullbacks work them out after 5 minutes, and after that they just show him inside. In the Championship last season, he was going down the outside of the fullbacks and putting a cross in. But whether he's still not fully match fit yet, or he's still getting up to the pace of the Premier League,
possibly,
he looks a different player. And for me personally, I don't think he's got it. And I think there was where we sit on Wednesday, the grumbles when he came on was like, well, what's he bringing him on for? And that's the type of the response that we're getting now when you see him coming on. Whereas last year he would have been a game changer.
And I really want to see him come on and play like that. When Angulo cut in on his right, he went to shoot, carried on, then got a shot off. He held it that whole space going against Liverpool. I thought, that's what Mundell was doing in the Championship. That's what we want. But
to be fair, though, is it not because fullbacks are much better in the Premier League, though?
It could be that as well. could be that as well.
There's always that factor, but you know you want them.
By the
to
way,
hit
this
the
isn't
ground
me
running.
saying that, because I don't think Mundell's a bad footballer. I think if you compare him at championship level, he would get.
I'd agree with you if he was trying it and getting tackled, trying to do it, but he's not. It's not like he's trying to make them same runs. It's not like he's trying to cut in the same way and losing out.
He's maybe trying not to pull his hamstring again.
Yeah,
that's
something? What. Yeah,
he had two big hamstring injuries. To be fair to him,
and that's what worries me. We saw that with Ekwa, right? Come back from injury and never quite the same.
Yeah, but he was also one who his head when he was on it, he was good, but his head wasn't in it most of the time.
He's now at Watford, isn't he? By the way, Ekwa. So
yeah,
what a club for him to join. By the way, circus of a club at the moment. Yeah, that's the point. I just think with Mundell, he gets in, and I like Mundell. I think his work rate is excellent. I think he's got directness, he's got pace about him. But I just think for me, he screams, at least at the moment, he could improve, obviously. But for me, he screams high-end championship quality, not quite good enough for the Premier League. And I think in the summer, I wouldn't be adverse to selling Mundell if a good offer came into him, just because you want to try and help out our SCR or squad cost ratio position and try and increase your turnover a little bit, and then you can spend a bit more on better players. So, no, John, I think that's a fair point. I think Angulo, when he gets settled in, I think could be really something good. But I just think with and just because you don't make it in the Premier League with us doesn't mean you're a shite footballer for me. Like if Mundell was available and he was fully fit, mostly everyone in the Championship I think would want him. Nearly everybody.
Oh yeah, yeah,
so,
definitely.
No,
and
I thought he was against Everton in the Cup. I thought he was really good. To be fair, I thought he was our best player. But it's just one of those where, unfortunately, I think if you had Jack Clarke's trickery with Mundell's pace, then who knows what you could have. But you can't
quality of teams. The quality of teams in the Championship this season, I would have loved Mundell to be on loan there, because it's not just getting that game time. He's going up against players that are potential Premier League players there as well. So he's getting closer. It's more of a easing him into it, an extra season on loan there. So, I mean, to be fair, he came in, did really well for us, and then the next season he's straight into the Premier League kind of thing. So it's kind of a trial by fire in a way, isn't it?
But even if you sell him at the very least, at the very least, say hypothetically he is sold in the summer, you could still make a profit on him, and that's still a success in my opinion. He spent $2 million we spent on him 2 years ago, so you could. I reckon if you got it right, you could probably get 6, 7, 8 million, maybe rising to 10 add-ons possibly.
Yeah. Mundell was brilliant first game against Bournemouth and hasn't performed anywhere near as well since, apart from Everton FA Cup.
Carry on wingers, we missed Traore though.
Changing crisis. Thank you, SJ, by the way, for the £1. I'll put that towards the next Cornetto. Much appreciated. Mundell's a one-trick pony. SJ thinks that's harsh. He's young. Is he still going? You're right, though, Wayne. Why fudge Trey Hume into that position when Nilsson can play centre forward, left wing, right wing, attacking midfield, right midfield, left midfield? He's got all them on his CV. He can play. He's a utility player, essentially. His best place is the left, obviously. But Talby can go either side. We've seen it. It works. Them two, can you imagine both of them as the attacking threat?
That's the frustrating thing, because I thought Talby, since he came back in the side's been brilliant. He scored the worldie against Burnley, a hell of a game. I thought he had a decent game against Arsenal. He played all right, to be fair. And I thought it was really harsh on him to be took out. I mean, it wasn't because he's tired. Didn't play any games in AFCON, so he's fit and round to go. So it's one of them strange decisions by Regis de Vries to shoehorn Hume in and not players in the proper positions.
Yeah. Is that so he can captain? Or who's your captain? Who do you replace him as captain while Xhaka's out, in your opinion? Ballard. I would probably say Ballard, but
Ballard for me.
I'd say Ballard. Well, I could say Geertruida, but he doesn't play. So
if he was playing.
Excellent. Right. I mean, there's not much more to say on the Liverpool one, really. It was frustrating because it took them to score for us to actually start playing and actually look like we really wanted.
Like an away performance, at home that we have been, where we start slow, wait for them to score before we start playing. It had that type of feel.
Do you think, to be fair though, that was the kind of performance I was expecting a lot of this season going into it, where I felt like it wasn't that Sunderland didn't try for me. There was a lot of effort. You could see that they did try, but it just wasn't, the quality just wasn't there. And that's where I felt I was expecting this season to be like that almost nearly every week, when they was going, oh no, this is what it's going to be like for promoted clubs. Go in the Premier League, you're going to try, but you're not going to be able to keep hold of the ball. The quality's not going to be there. And actually, if you look at it in fairness, if you take the perspective onto it, as frustrating as Wednesday night was, and we know we fell below standards, because I think if we perform anywhere below standards, we probably have a chance of getting something out of that realistically. But the fact is, we're the last Prem team to have lost a home game, and we've lasted till mid-February before losing at home. We've got to realise how phenomenal that is for a promoted side.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Well, just before we move on, what I will say, because I've been to Anfield and the atmosphere is absolutely shocking, but I will say their fans on Wednesday were quite loud all through the game. I thought and they had the full end.
They had great support, to be fair, especially when you compare it like for Burnley, who took up about 7 seats in one corner.
I mean, in their defence, they're going down and they had absolutely none. But again,
in their defence, it's Burnley.
I didn't hear much of the Liverpool fans, but that was because I'm at the other side of the ground, so that's probably why it is. But I'll take your word for it.
It was packed out, and they were spilling onto the lower tier practically, which doesn't usually get used at all, and they were spilling onto there. And to be fair, we were driving back and we stopped at Leeds Skelton Bridge. And as we got in there, the only place open in there was McDonald's for a coffee. And it was just all Liverpool fans. And I hadn't changed. I was in my Sunderland shirt. My brother's in Sunderland shirt. And we had a laugh with them and they spoke to us and stuff like that. So they're all really sound. So
did you tell them
as much as I joke, and I did double check my car was locked before we went into the stadium because it's Liverpool.
Did you by any chance tell them that you've just about forgiven them for losing the cup final to them lot last year?
No, well, one of them said to one of the kids there, give them shit, they're Sunderland fans. And I went, I think you give us enough shit, thank you.
You've done that already.
Maybe it's just a Northeastern Merseyside thing. To be fair, there are passionate supporters. Everton fans are just as passionate as well. Just want to quickly say, I love the tribute before we move on, love the tribute to George Foster in the 26th minute.
Brilliant.
And in the programme. He had a double page in the programme, and he was on the team sheet as well. Absolutely brilliant. I love the club's just getting everything right when it comes to marketing. They're still probably kicking themselves for the black and white bar, so they can't make a mistake since. I hope the whole marketing team got fired.
Maybe they thought Wayne was going to kick off about it on YouTube and thought, right, that kid, he needs to fucking grow up, Wayne, right? So let's make sure we actually don't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Grow up, Wayne.
What's Wayne's final thoughts on the?
Enjoy the fear. We're the fucking clear.
There we go.
Oh God.
We will say, go on. Man of the match for who was your man of the match for Sunderland at Liverpool versus Liverpool?
And Gulo, we didn't give him the game up, but we did get he looked dangerous. Other than that, I thought Ryan Aildo did all right against Salah, but apart from that, it was a flat performance, wasn't it?
Michael?
Gertruida for a 10 out of 10 performance when he didn't play.
Well, actually, when he came on, he did come on. He looked good when he came on the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. The only one slight problem that though, it's in the wrong position. I wanted him in midfield, not centre back. Although
very late subs.
To be fair, might have been forced with Alderete going off.
Right. Well, mine
seriously probably was Reynaldo. I thought Reynaldo was really good.
Mine's got to be Roofs for the first half. It could have been 3-0 up at half time to Liverpool if it wasn't for Roofs. I think he did absolutely brilliant. I think we just like the black away kit. We need to scrap his black goalkeeper kit, even though I've got it and I love it. We got to scrap it. He does better in orange.
Obviously, the goal was at your end. Was he at fault for the goal a little bit? Did he come out and miss it? And did Van Dijk get there? Or was it just a case of?
I didn't see it properly. Like when I was watching it live, I was busy talking to someone at the time. But having watched it back. No, I think it's just poor marking. I think it's just really poor defending. And that's the thing that annoyed me. Is like, well, you've lasted this long. Why on earth are you giving Oh, by the way, don't worry. It's just Virgil van Dijk. He's one of the best headers of a ball. I just give him a free yard of space in the 6-yard area. Go on, let him head it in. It's fine.
What I will say is though, on their corners, Salah, every corner, quality ball in the box. Everyone looked dangerous. Every ball.
Yeah.
Well,
like I said earlier, I thought Wirtz was outstanding. I think I said all along that people wrote him off too quickly, and I think that once he settles in, he'll show his quality. Thanks, Scott. By the way, he's a Leicester fan. Obviously, you can probably tell by his badge. So, if you think if we're feeling a bit miserable about Wednesday, it could be. I think Scott's reminded me it could be a lot worse. To be fair.
Do we play Elborg against? We'll go on to the Oxford game shortly. Do you have anything prepared for us, Wayne?
I do. Now,
So
as it's
let me
valid,
just tell everyone in the chat, sorry, this is the moment where we have a little game and a bit of fun between ourselves, and you can get involved and don't complain that we're not talking about football because, you know, it's what we do.
still a little bit
You're
football
gonna
related.
do the guessing one just because Conrad can't ruin it for you, and
So, as it's Valentine's Day tomorrow,
oh dear.
have I just reminded you? Oh shit! So,
Oh no, we don't do it in our house. I've convinced
come
her
up
we
with
don't do it in our house.
nine players that are Valentine's Day related. Now they're not some of them are, but some of them are just general players, but Valentine's Day related. So I'm going to give you the clues and see if you can guess the players. So I started my career at Leeds United.
Okay.
I league debut for Tottenham with a stunning volley.
This is his debut against Tottenham or for them?
No, for Tottenham.
Okay.
I will look
I
at
had
you,
a
chat,
loan-
because Conrad's
I
on
had a
you.
loan spell at Sunderland.
Ian Hart, Merton 76.
I don't know. Jack Clark?
Oh, Rose. Danny Rose.
Danny Rose, Valentine's Day
Yeah.
related.
Fair enough.
Danny Rose.
Good shout, Changing Crisis. Good shout.
I was England's #1 goalkeeper for many years.
Joe Hart.
Joe Hart.
Hey!
I am a
can retire.
Croatian centre-back. I played in England for Southampton before moving to a top Premier League side.
I was going to say Van Dijk, but he's Dutch.
I'm trying to think related to Valentine's.
That's
what's throwing me.
I was part of a squad that won both the Champions League and the Premier League. And it was Liverpool.
Lovren.
That's it. Dejan.
Are you saying
Lovren?
Wasn't there a period, by the way, where Liverpool just became Southampton 2.0 and just signed all their best players?
Oh,
I was trying to think of like the United centre backs and stuff, and I couldn't think of anyone that was related to Valentine's in any way.
Some of them have got a bit of a twist. So I am one of Belgium's all-time leading scorers.
Romelu Lukaku?
Right, Romeo Lukaku.
Oh, come on, Wayne. We are stretching there. We are clutching at straws there. Wow.
Right. I came through the academy at Manchester United. I made an appearance in the Premier League for Sunderland. I didn't know if that one's correct, actually. Maybe he did.
Well, that's helpful.
I'm just looking at that. And I later played in the AFL for clubs including Shrewsbury Town and Morecambe.
Yeah,
Love
Donald
that played for
Johnny
Sunderland,
just
is
said
it? Dave Love.
Donald Love.
Yeah,
Donald
Yeah,
Love.
Wayne,
Dave
if you're asking the questions, do you know where Donald Love plays now?
Is be some non-league team, is he?
No, it's still a League Two club.
Is it? Yeah,
Give you a hint. Who are they?
Accrington Stanley.
Accrington Stanley.
Yeah, correct. Accrington Stanley.
I am an Italian striker. Enjoyed successful spell in Scotland with Rangers.
Okay.
Right.
I won multiple domestic honours during my time at Ibrox. This is probably an older one.
No, I'm definitely not going to get it then. Mike, it's on you.
Antonio Amoruso.
Never heard of him.
Amoruso.
Oh, come on. Oh, it's like Wayne is really pun-ishing us.
I scored a crucial equaliser in a famous Champions League final comeback.
Steven Gerrard.
I played for clubs including Tottenham, Manchester United and West Ham.
Is it in that order?
Yeah. I also represented England at major international tournaments.
Tottenham, Man United and West Ham.
If you think of the famous Champions League comeback.
When you said that, I was thinking of the Liverpool comeback.
Do you know who I was thinking of? But the West Ham bit threw me off. I was thinking of Dimitar Berbatov because he went from Tottenham, Man United, but no, it wouldn't have been him.
Teddy Bear Sheringham.
There we go. Teddy Bear Sheringham.
Oh, my God.
This
Is
needs
Valentine's Day an
over.
excuse for all these crappy dad jokes?
The last one, I was a left back renowned for my powerful free kicks and penalties.
Leighton Baines?
I spent many years at Leeds United. I had a spell at Sunderland on loan and went on to become an agent.
Ian Hart.
Ian Hart.
Only because someone mentioned it for an earlier question, so I was like, hang on. Yeah, the next question should have been, was I had a spell at Sunderland and went on to become an agent. I am a twat.
I am a twat. You would have getting straight away then, though.
Yeah. I nearly screwed up Jack Clark's career.
Right,
Apologies
you're banned from
quiz.
themed
Apologies.
quizzes, Wayne. You're banned from themed quizzes.
Teddy bear sharing. Can it be?
Teddy bear sharing. I'm gonna have nightmares about that.
Oh, dear me.
We haven't got Conrad's 20 questions, so we'll just jump. Unless he's going to join us at any point, is he going to pop in?
What he'll do is he'll come on at 1 minute at 10 to do his quiz, which will delay my bedtime. That's what will happen.
Yeah, but you said you didn't need to go to bed early because you're off tomorrow. So there you
7
go.
hour special.
We've only got Oxford to speak about and Speakman.
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Well, actually, I was going to say that was my question. What about your thoughts on Kristjaan Speakman leaving? Because
Well, that's what we're going to talk about. That's a
all
topic.
right then.
Yeah.
Link them all together.
Yeah. No, you've already asked it. So Speakman leaving. First of all, what's our thoughts on Speakman? Because he has been a roller coaster for this club. I think he's done well in hindsight, but we definitely, a lot of us Sunderland fans were baying for his blood at one point.
Yeah.
For not making signings and stuff like that.
And I think Michael's got quite a bit to say. I think.
No, wait. I'll let you two go first. I'll say my bit at the end.
So I'm just, for me, there was nobody more critical than him in times in the last 5 years than me. I just thought sometimes we were devout of ideas and not showing any real ambition. However, when you see where we are now, and they've had that plan, and him and Colin Harvey and what have you had that 5-year plan, and Dreyfus, it's come to fruition. So, and our hindsight's a wonderful thing. So that criticism was probably unfair at the time. But in the moment, when you're seeing us not kicking on and we've got a chance to sign players and not signing players, now you see the reason behind that. They've kind of got us up on a shoestring, if you like, which has now allowed us to spend all that money in the summer. Then fair play to him. And he's got a lot of credit in the bank from me. And I will apologise for the shit that he got off me in the last few years. Some of it was justified, by the way, but for what he did to the club, for the club, from where we were to where we are now, he deserves a hell of a lot of credit. Yeah,
definitely. I agree with you, and I probably have to make the same apology because, I've done the same. But it was frustrating as fans because as much as you want to invest in the club's long-term plans, what always counts this season, right? No matter what season you're in, this season is the one that counts. And we already had a massive fall from the Premier League, and we've suffered as fans. Go on then, Mr. Bowers. Give us your thoughts on Speakman.
If you remember, I was thinking about this long before he came on, and Mike might remember this. We did a video on this about 2 years ago. It was the day after we lost to Birmingham, I think. So it was after Agent Mowbray helped get rid of Agent Beale, which was quite funny. I remember
you owe a pound to the swear box for saying the B word. Just carry on.
I didn't mention anything about them lot up the road, though. Sorry. But to be fair, and I remember, and Mike will remember this. I remember we had a respectful disagreement about it, and we were talking about whether this will work longer term, and I was of the opinion that it would. So I think it might still be on YouTube. So just you can go back and look at it. It was like around February 2024. So it's not me trying to be Mr. Smart Arse in hindsight. But look, don't get us wrong. There's no way I could actually predict the future as much as I wish I'd like to. But
no, but you saw the plan for what it was, and I, like a lot of fans, were just cared about this season. I don't care what your long-term plan is. Get me a frigging striker.
The views of people, you can balance both. Like, both can be true. Because I think there were things, like, as someone who knows, I was pretty much probably the leading associate of the Kristjaan Speakman fanboy club. You know, I was pretty much of the opinion, because I remember at the end of that season, and to be fair, the end of that season was gash. I'm not going to pretend in hindsight that it wasn't appalling, because it was. By the time we had the Sheffield Wednesday game, of course, they beat us, they stayed up, yada, yada, yada. I was relieved that season was over like anyone else was. But at the time I did say that I saw a lot of people that wanted the project ripped up and started again. And that's opinions, by the way. I'm not going to hammer them for it. Grow up, Wayne. But no, I think no, obviously love you, dude. But like, no, obviously I can't remember Wayne saying anything like that. So, but the point I was getting at was there was a lot of people that were wanting the project to be scrapped and started again. Now, was Speakman's time perfect? No. I think, sorry to put you're going to have another donation at the swear box. I have to mention him again. The Beale appointment, he deserves a lot of criticism for, and he deserves a lot of stick for it. What on earth he was thinking making that appointment, I have absolutely no idea. In hindsight, I remember saying at the time, well, here's one. Should we just give it to Mike Dodds for the rest of the season? Well, looking how he did in his second spell, probably not.
I felt personally attacked by that whole situation, because Wayne will remember the sign that I made on Fan TV.
Is that the one when you were talking about, we're saying that Beale is gone and it's going to be announced tomorrow?
No, it was earlier on when I was going. I made a trust in Beale post.
In Beale we trust. In Beale we trust.
Yeah, but yeah, look. So yeah, that was funny.
Dark times. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Could have been worse. Could have been getting beat 6-0 off Bolton. Lee Johnson. But anyway, moving on from another swear box. No, to be fair, I think so. There are criticisms there. There are some. Look, not every signing you make is going to come off well, and there were some signings that were gash and atrocious, like such as Hamia, Poveda. I'm trying to think who else is there. Russian, I didn't think he was a bad player, but he was not suited to the Championship at all. So I think that obviously was a miss. There was another one. Callum Styles. Would rather have had Harry Styles, to be totally honest, play for us. So yeah, for me, there were some
put more seats in the ground.
Well, true. Well, the ladies would be swooning for that. But yeah, joking aside, look, those signings obviously didn't work. Not every signing was perfect, but I have been quite keen to point out that not every signing under any regime, no one's going to have a 100% perfect record at all. Yeah, and I think
at least his mistakes weren't massively costly mistakes. We were investing very shrewdly the whole time. They weren't huge. I mean, one or two standout ones, I know, I'll give you, but it wasn't like, deadline day, January, trying to get
Will Grigg for 4 million.
Grigg, yeah.
What if you remember to the Ian Dong for 13.5? Jack Rodwell for 10.
He's not. It's not even case of aim small and miss small. He just seems to target future players, and it really has paid. If 2 or 3 players come good out of 10 signings that cost you next to nothing, that's really good business.
And the money's made, Job, Jack Clark, all them, the money that we've made on them.
And that's another thing, because I think for me, but I mean, obviously, look, and I think under the Speakman era with him and Harvey at the club, because Stuart Harvey deserves just as much a mention in this, by the way, we have to be fair. I think under their regime, I'm trying to remember how many times did we pay over, say, £2 million for an individual player? I'm thinking Roops, it's very small, really. I think it's Roops, Alexic, Isidore, and that's about it, I think. And bear in mind, Alexic and Isidore weren't until we sold Jack Clark, which funded those signings effectively. So in reference to what Mike was saying about seeing what the plan was, I said back then that yes, selling Jack Clark would be gutting, and of course it was. But in hindsight, we'd signed Mundle to give him 6 months to bed in while Clark was here, so that when Clark left, Mundle could step in and replace him, and we've got money for other positions. So that's for me, and that's unfortunately, and I know there will be a lot of fans out there, and I'm one of them, that doesn't like the idea of selling your best players, but unfortunately, and it's not just exclusive to Sunderland, anyone who's not in the top of the food chain has to do that. Even if you look at, say, Crystal Palace, for example, I mean, I know the situation is slightly different, but they just had to sell Mark Gahey for 20 million. There's another example, Antoine Semenyo, even Bournemouth to go to Man City when Bournemouth have been an established, probably even top half Premier League club, really. So the point I'm getting at is in the Championship, although this season not so much, but that's an anomaly. Generally, parachute payment teams dominate the Championship financially and in squad quality. And that's such, it's hard to compete with that without having to make a big sale to fund other areas. Like, for example, if we hadn't sold Jack Clark, I don't think we get Enzo Lefebvre. I don't think get Isidore permanently. There's a lot of other examples where you have to sometimes make one big sale in order to fund the next stage of your project. And even in the season we were talking about earlier, when you had Mowbray, then Beale, then Dodds, although that season was terrible, You still got Job in that season. You still got Mundell in that season. And even if you just look at Job alone, the money he's made the club is ridiculous.
Well,
So
I feel like he's a player that went too soon. Like when we lost Jordan Henderson, I thought one more season. When we lost Pickford, I thought one more season.
But if you didn't get rid of, if you don't sell Job, then for me you don't get Jack out directly your roofs. Like
I mean, in hindsight, yes, but at the time of selling Job,
at the time you don't think that, do you? But I think
we went through a period where it was directly correlated. Winning game, Job was on the pitch. Losing game, he wasn't. And we went through a period of that. So seeing him sold was like.
Well, at the time, we didn't do any business at that point, had we? So we didn't know what we were going to do with it. So I get your point. But even in the Championship, though, you look at... And I think an area of Speakman, well, I think he deserves a lot of credit for it, especially is getting prices for players. So the best example for me, okay, I've seen some arguments that this guy, that Ross Stewart was a Lee Johnson signing. But if you're going to be consistent, then you've got to say Bradley Dack is a Tony Mowbray signing. That's another dud, by the way. Bradley Dack. Well done, Tony. Love you, mate, but no, don't put you in charge of signing players. But what I was going to say with Ross Stewart, we signed him, what was it, 300,000 or whatever it was. And bearing in mind, he had one season where he somehow did not get injured. I don't know how in that League One promotion year he did not pick up an injury once. He must have been wrapped in the thickest of cotton wool ever. But even the year afterwards in the Championship, he had, 10 goals, I think it was, but he made like 13 appearances. So thanks, Scott. Much appreciated, mate. Hopefully you get out of trouble. But I think... If you look at Ross Stewart, how on earth we got 10 million for him when he was injury struck in the last year of his contract? That for me is incredible on Speakman. And yes, again, I know that I know you don't.
We must have rolled him in glitter before putting him in the shop window, because
or it was just Russell Martin was that stupid and so I like Ross Stewart, but we'll pay 10 million even though he's injury prone. Even though, by the way, Ross Stewart when he was fit was class. But the point I'm getting at is
we can't critique other teams for buying players that are injured. Just throwing that out there.
No, to be fair, you're right. We can. But so either way though, like that funded, say, Job and Mundell, and then Mundell was Clark's replacement, which in turn funded Lefay probably on loan, which would have been a very expensive deal. Isidore permanently as well. And even if you look at selling Isidore in the summer, we spent $3.5 million on him. You could probably make about 20 million, maybe even more in the summer if we wanted to sell him. The point I'm getting at is you've sold players at the right time, and you have to do that. You have to do that if you're not a parachute payment club. Look at the amount of players we went for last January, for example. We wanted to go for Tom Cannon, went to Sheffield United, parachute payment club. Wanted to go to Marcus Edwards, went to Burnley, parachute payment club. So, and I think him and Stuart Harvey in particular, yes, not every signing was a success, and obviously are mistakes that they deserve to be critiqued for. But both of them have been transformational for the club in terms of getting us back towards the Premier League. If you look at, and I was looking at this earlier, and I'd be interested to know what you guys' thoughts are on this. But I was looking at the, let's see if I can get it up. Hang on. I was looking at the starting 11 that started against Sheffield United at Wembley at the end of last season and how much it cost to assemble. So I'm going to replace Luke O'Nien here with Chris Metham because O'Nien only played like 3 minutes. But you had Patterson, Hume, Ballard, Metham, Sirkin, Rigg, Neal, Bellingham, Mundell. For some reason, this says Lefay was up front with Mayenda. He definitely wasn't. But you're looking at that. So Patterson Academy, Rigg Academy, Neal Academy. Okay, so say Ballard 2 million, Hume 200,000, Sirkin was like 600 grand or whatever it was. Mundell 2 million, Bellingham up to 3 million, Mayenda 800 grand I think it was. Lefay loan. And then you look at the Sheffield United's team there, and you got like Michael Cooper who went for a lot of money. I'll say 2 million actually wasn't that much to be fair. But you got Vinny Souza went for a fair bit of money. Gus Hamer went for a bit of money. Burrows probably cost more than our entire back line as a parachute payment club. So I think when it came to this summer, when Gazolfi was appointed, I think it was inevitable Speakman was going to go at some point. And I think there's nothing wrong necessarily with that. I think Gazolfi has clearly shown he's a level up on Speakman. But I think Speakman and Harvey, for the level of resources they would have had to have worked with, has done so much better than I think at the time they were getting credit for. And don't get me wrong, Mike is right. At the time, we did not. I was frustrated as anyone at not getting. You remember the Kiefer Moore saga? Us and Ipswich going at each other to try. Well, I say going at each other. We probably went about 2/3 of the way, and Ipswich went the full way, didn't they? But hence why they got him. But I heard a rumor at the time that Kiefer Moore was on 40 grand a week at Bournemouth, and Ipswich were paying 3/4 of that. 30 grand a week. That is quite a lot for a non-parachute payment club. And I know Ipswich weren't at the time, but they were going for automatic promotion and had playoffs to fall back on. We didn't.
You talk about transfer fees last season and stuff like that. Well, the only metric you need to look at in last season is look at the wage bills.
Absolutely.
We were like third from the bottom
Yeah.
of the wage bills thing. We had one of the lowest wage bills in that league. And that's why we wouldn't invest in things like Kiefer Moore. It's been shrewd business, whether that's directly Speakman, whether that's a combination of the entire board. We've been really shrewd, and it's been an endurance task for fans. But
and another thing as well is
paying off.
Go on, mate. Go on.
You're saying like the Job one, and Mike, you were saying that you would like Job to have stayed one more season, but I saw things in Job where I thought he would struggle in the Premier League. I just thought he didn't have the pace, and I think he would have struggled this season. And now he's gone to Dortmund, and things haven't worked out for him there. But he is still young. He's 19, 20, on a young lad. But I just think he would have struggled this year in the Premier League. And to get him out and to replace him with the likes of Xhaka is a masterstroke for me. Absolute masterstroke bit of business.
Yeah, and even if you compare him to the likes of Diarra, I mean, I like Job. I think he's a really good player, but I think Diarra is a level above when you watch him. I think, to be fair, I actually thought Job had attributes that would suit the Premier League, but the difference would be with Dortmund, even though it's not gone great for him at the minute, he's playing in one of the big hitters of the league, and he's not going to have to do as much defending and not as much like off the ball work. Whereas with us in the Premier League, we would have to do that in order to be competitive. But that's it. Job, right? We signed him for up to 3 million, I think it was, including add-ons, right? And then you got, 33 million euros up front. So that's 28 million quid. But even if you take, I think Birmingham got 15% of that. Take that out of it, that's like over 4 million. We got like 23.5 million pounds up front for Job. And because we ran shrewdly in the Championship, because in the Championship you can get away with spending little as long as you're savvy with your recruitment. Because we did that, that was what enabled our PSR position to be so damn good in the Premier League that we could afford to go and sign the players we did, and why we are now looking 95% sure to be safe. Touch wood, I've not jinxed that, and we're not going to lose every single game and go down. But I don't think
we're not. But I do think it's an easier task to work that model in the Championship than it is in the Premier League.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why. Rig was in the shop window all through that Championship season, and teams like Man United were looking at him, paying attention, stuff like that. Now he's not in the window. He's getting 5 minutes.
Which is frightening, by the way, when you look at it. But another good thing is Rig, Mayanda, and Hume, in addition to a lot of all the new signings, are all tied down till 2030 now. And that's where, even if Rig's not going to feature for us, homegrown, really talented, young lad, huge potential still, you could command a lot of money.
That little back heel tap in, was it against Middlesbrough?
Yeah. That was just... That was chef's kiss, wasn't it? But another example,
that's his highlight reel just 100 times over.
I was watching that goal earlier today, actually, funny enough. But even with Mayenda, look, at the time we signed him, it was less than £1 million we bought him for. Even I wouldn't have foreseen what he did last season. And last season he improved exponentially. He improved considerably. You look at the goal he scored at Bristol City, and that was just remarkable how he managed to do that. He must have watched Isidore against Hull and thought, "Screw you! I'm going to try and match you."
I'm going to upstage you. No, but I think
he did it better in many ways. But that's the point. Like, so don't get us wrong. I was frustrated with a lot of the. To get back to Speakman, I was frustrated with a lot of the time with the rigidity of not signing a bit of experience. I think the experience thing got overblown. I thought it became an excuse for the young players. But to be fair, they did do the necessary tweaks. Look at Alan Brown, signing him on a free transfer when he was one of Preston's best players for a decade, and we got him.
Captain Preston, didn't he?
Sorry?
Preston,
Captain.
Yeah, he did, exactly. Yeah. So I think, and there's no coincidence maybe that he's got to Borough and he's contributing massively to them, and they're top of the Championship. So I think, look, there is frustrations, of course there is, but unfortunately, we live in a world now financially where you have to comply with the rules, and they're coming a lot stricter under that. So one big sale could fund a lot in terms of business. Even Premier League clubs, again, look at Palace, look at Bournemouth, look at Brentford, best example. They sold Wissa and Mbeumo for like 120 million combined. And look where they are. They're like on 40 points, on the verge of maybe possibly going for European qualification. So it's all about how you run yourself. But if you look, for example, the leeway Leeds and Burnley had, because they'd been in the Prem, had to spend more, whereas we hadn't been in there, we could get away with spending a lot less. We then had the wiggle room, and because we sold good players at the right time, we've been able to then have more of a go this year. And not forget, in every one of the last 3 summers, we've made at least one big sale. We sold Ross Stewart in 2023. In 2024, we sold Jack Clark. And last year, 2025, we sold Tommy Watson as well as Joe Bellingham. So, that's the whole point. Don't be surprised now if we see one big sale at least every summer, and it can fund a next area. But now I'm hoping, and even this summer, you don't have, because we've been ran well, we're now in a position where you could probably have, You may not even have to sell a main player. You could sell, say, Isidore, Mundell, Patterson if he does well at Millwall. You could collect a fee from those players and then still be able to keep everyone else for, as Mike would say with Job, one more season, and then see where you can sort of lead with things from there. And I would say as well for Speakman and for Stuart Harvey, I think although there are, I think if I was rating Speakman and Harvey's time at the club out of 10, but Speakman particularly, I'd say 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
I think an 8 is probably a fair range because obviously Beale, no. But anyway, but that some of the duds knocks it down a couple of places. But I think generally for what he had to work with, I think you've got to applaud him for that, mate. And he didn't have the biggest of resources to work with, so him and Harvey both didn't. And I think any Championship club who's got aspirations of being Rambles, so Scott, Leicester fan, for example, right? If I was Leicester, I'd be going. If they stay up, I'd be going all out to get Speakman and Harvey because at Championship level, they should be sought after very highly.
You're right, and I think in the summer we've now got. I think I read somewhere £120 million at the moment to spend in the summer. We've still got a lot of money. The likes of Mien, Rig, I think will then probably go out on loan for a season to try and get more experience. So again, the signs for the future because we've done this model and the way we've been ran. Bodes well for the future as well.
And don't get us wrong, you need some degree of luck to it because if we had lost at Wembley, then the conversation is totally different, isn't it? So, of course it does. But that's the point. I think we've got probably around 100 million now, I'd imagine, because that was before we signed Nilsson and Gulu. But we're still in a cracking position in the summer to be able to go again. And because we're able to go again, having been staying in the Premier League, again, hopefully, but I'm with you guys, I think we'll be fine. But say in the summer, we can now go out and sign the attacking players now because we've sorted out the midfield. We've sorted out obviously as long as everyone's fit. You sort out the midfield, defence, goalkeeper. As long as no one leaves that you want to keep, you can go all out and sign the attackers. And then I'd be cautiously optimistic for next season as long as we're ran right.
I think one player we will lose in the summer for big money is Roofs. I just think there'll be big teams. Like goalkeepers are hard to find, and I think he'll be the one that'll have the most interest in the summer. Him and Ballard potentially, but I think Roofs
could be a record signing, like transfer fee to take him off us, but that also could be the reason we've just recruited a keeper that is a very similar style.
But that's what I was going to say. That's the type of. It's exactly the same thing as we signed Stewart to replace White when you left. We signed Mundell for Clark. It's exactly the same thing for me with Elborg and Roofs. My opinion is, I have a feeling we'll keep Roofs for one more year. But even if I
think we'll try to, but if a silly offer comes in.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, if a big offer comes in, then that's why. If Elborg's highly rated, then that's why you sign him in, bet him in for 6 months, and then in the summer he could replace him adequately. Again, it's succession planning. And that's where often when people were really having a go at Speakman, and I'm talking like abusive levels, obviously not everyone was. It was obviously criticism's fair enough. But I was getting frustrated. I was thinking, guys, if you think beyond just the next 6 months and then just the next window, there is logic in what we're trying to do here. You've just got to try and think a bit further. But even if, say, Roofs goes in the summer, this is why I bang on about the length of players' contracts and why they're important. Because Roofs is under contract, we signed him on a 5-year deal, remember? That means if he goes in the summer, we can play hardball within reason. We can go, we want a huge fee. He's proved to be one of the best keepers in the Premier League. He's got 4 years left on his contract with a huge upside.
Right. I was going to say, with all these players, we've got them tied down on a 5-year contract. That's a massive help for us as well. So
exactly.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I think we can put that to bed. There's no point us speculating whether it's his decision, whether it's the club's decision, whatever it is. I think we've all got a newfound
goes with our
respect.
best wishes, I would say.
Yeah, we've all got a newfound respect for Speakman.
He won't be out of a job very long, I don't think. No. I think by the end of the season, I wouldn't be shocked if he's at another championship. Unless
he wants to, of course. He might want that break.
I hate the director of football model kind of thing. I like managers that can make signings.
I remember you saying that to me a couple of years ago. I remember.
Yeah. And that's always been my thought, but it's
changed now. Though,
done right. It's not changed. I still think
a
good manager should be able to get the players he wants. But as long as that's a conversation that can go back and forth, I think he's done brilliantly in all. So we'll leave that one there.
Just the last thing to just say, sorry, Mike, is I think there is a point though where I think Speakman probably did reach his ceiling though. I think we have moved above him, and you can tell Gazolfi's recruitment's seems to be so far on a different level to him. And there's no shame in that. I think once Gazolfi came in, I thought, I think Speakman's off soon enough. I'm surprised he came this early, but I'm not surprised he's gone.
The same thing that happens with the team has to happen with the backroom staff at the club. It's as simple as that if we have to progress. And it's been a problem for a long time at Sunderland. Who's our striking coach, Wayne?
Mr. Michael Proctor.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels like that. Things like that need to move on as well. And I think Labrie will slowly change over, and get more of his own stuff in. And
But that's the thing. So I think if you're talking about progression and sustained progress, well, as KLD said in the statement, sustained progress, basically. For me, and Mike will love probably what I'm about to say, but for me, Sunderland, the size that we are, the stadium, the facilities, the infrastructure, the fan base, we're a club, in my opinion, that should be challenging regularly for European football. And I'm not talking Champions League. I'm talking going for. There we go. I see. But I love that. I love that, lad. But that's the point. For me, there is no reason in the pyramid why we should not be a regular top 10 Prem club. Obviously, as long as we're ran correctly, then because we don't have a God, because unlike them lot, we don't think we have a God-given right. But no, the point is, we know that if we're ran well enough, there is no reason for me why we shouldn't be a regular top 10 side, and we're regularly pushing for Europe. I think and I don't think that's delusional either. I think with everything that's there, we should be in that conversation. And I wouldn't be surprised if the club's trying to work towards that.
I've thought that for the last 10 seasons. That might have been delusional, but at least now I'm looking less delusional as the season.
You laugh at that, but when we were constantly just scraping relegation, I remember saying exactly the same thing on YouTube before I put a bit of this on. I was going, no, this isn't good enough. We should not be behind the likes of Bournemouth and West Brom and Stoke and Swansea.
We've always had great teams on paper, and there's always been something wrong, and that's what I think is why the back room does have to change eventually, because there's only so many times you can blame a set of players, then players move on, and then you're blaming the next set of players before you've got to look at what has been the constant. And the constant has been a lot of that backroom staff.
Yeah, no, that's a fair enough. I mean, at some point that will have to evolve as well.
Right, let's move on from that. Mr. Speakman, thank you very much. You've made this club as great as it should be again, and we are going onwards and upwards, so appreciate what you've done for us. Let's take a few of these questions.
Sorry, last thing I will say before we move on, because obviously I know Scott's watching as a Leicester fan. Like I said, if Leicester stay up, you should be going all out to get Speakman and Harvey for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see where I'm sure we'll keep track and see where he ends up.
Absolutely.
Right, let's take a few of the questions out the chat, because I feel like we've relatively ignored them. Are you all right for time, Wayne? All right.
I've got all night, so you can go with only you want for me. Just keep Wayne up even longer. It's fine.
I've never said that to a woman. Right. With that said, Gary Milan. Do you think that Gertrude loan deal has a clause? If he plays many games, we sign him permanently. The club are just looking at someone else.
It has to. That's the only reason for me that's the only reason it makes sense to me that he's not playing more.
But then why is he not getting Liverpool? If that's the case, why didn't they just let him get Liverpool?
I think we still need the depth that he provides. So letting him go to Liverpool would have forced our hand to make an overpriced signing or loan deal last minute in the window.
I wouldn't be surprised
if it was easier for us to block it than to try and start a recruitment.
I wouldn't be surprised if they thought we still need him to bring on in games, and if he starts another game, then we have to pay a fee. Now, me personally, we also have to bear in mind, does Gertrude want to move here permanently after being barely used? I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. So, but I know what you mean. To me, it's just totally baffling why he isn't starting more. And what's the fees? Like 23 million euros? That's like 20 million quid. For me, if he was open to the idea of coming here and signing permanently, he's easily worth that, in my opinion.
Well, time will tell with that one, I think. Steve Hewitt said it's odd that Labrie can be ruthless at times. Masuka, for example. Yet, by all accounts, I don't get to games these days. The Hume thing isn't working, but he persists with it. I'll just give my 2 cents on this. I think as a manager, you've always got a balancing act, and it should never compromise the quality of the team. I'll agree with you. But Masuaku did not have the dressing room ear like Hume will have the dressing room ear. Yeah. So you as a manager, you have to keep the peace with some people. You shouldn't detriment your team to it, but that's my 2 cents on that. Does he need to be more ruthless, Wayne?
Well, I think he's proved to be ruthless already. I mean, when you think the start of the season, Patterson, Neil, all them players who got us promoted, pretty much binned them all off, apart from Ballard and Hume. Everybody else got binned off in the summer. So I can see he has been ruthless in that sense, but again, this could be part of the reason of this assistant manager. He might have had views of who should be in the side, and the briefs has got different, and maybe he's had a bit of a fire up. I didn't know, but for me, the Hume one is a strange one. Why he keeps persisting, and he's always, in the press conference, he's always bigging him up and saying he's a good player and he fits to where he wants to play. Maybe he sees something that way, didn't it? I mean, he's the manager. Obviously, you think he knows better than us, but just what we're seeing on the pitch, it's not working.
Yeah, it can be a very different thing if you're basing on a week's worth of training where he's done wonderful, right? But we all love a Hume tackle. Let's just play him where he belongs.
As long as he doesn't get sent off for it, yes.
Yeah. Well, the odd red card's all right if it involves a black
Can you
and white
imagine,
snapped
actually,
leg.
if it was in the derby that he made a big crunching but fair tackle on Anthony Gordon after the way Gordon skinned him in the cup game? That would be very fitting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, as long as there's a leg.
As long as we get a good result, of course.
Pixel Rich, lads, I'm on Wayne's channel. Can comments per channel be seen as I'm an old fella that's not good with tech? Yes, we have on our software that we're all watching on, we see all comments. Unfortunately, it's just me that can highlight them and go through when Conrad's not here. So I am trying to keep up. So I do apologize if I miss any. After following Michael for a long while, my question to all Sunderland fans is as follows. What's your thoughts now with our owners and board? That is from your Leicester fan, Scott. I mean, I think I could probably speak for us all, but you guys can definitely have your 2 cents. Best one we've had for a long time. I mean, especially when it comes to investment and stuff like that. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love the romantic idea when Niall Quinn took over with the consortium, because it was somebody who loved the club that was there. But it's never quite worked. We've got money, we've got investment, and we've got a young lad, which was scary when we first said we were going to get him. I was like, how old is he? He can't run a club. Let's get that big bearded guy that always says he's going to buy us every 2 minutes.
William Story.
I'm not buying them.
Only Fools energy drinks coming soon.
I actually genuinely thought you meant William Story. Do you know the lad who was constantly trying to get himself in the spotlight when we won? And trying
that's what I mean. Yeah, the energy drink. He owns that.
I'll buy the club. I'll do this, all the. Oh, you probably put us into debt, you idiot.
Yeah, but I think they're the best owners we've had, genuinely. And as much as there was frustrations at the beginning because they had a 5-year plan and we were like, no, we need a 1-year plan. So
we were desperate to get out of League One then, though, weren't we?
Yeah,
I think we reached the point where we'd had enough of being in that shithole.
We've had lots of promises of takeovers.
When
when they take over and start changing all the seats at the stadium, getting the fans involved, we're thinking, oh, this is great. This is the kind of ownership we need. And then we saw the crap that came at the end of it. It's different,
Well, that's it. And then you see the Netflix, what happened behind the scenes with fucking Metfin and, two chances looking at quick money,
Yeah.
See, to me, I've got a slightly different opinion on that. I don't think Donald was a chancer at all.
Do you not?
No, I think Donald genuinely did care and wanted to do well. He just was out of his depth.
Yeah, I'll agree there. He'd suit a League Two.
He wasn't
ownership.
good enough for us, by the way, to make that clear, because I know there might be some people that will probably hate hearing that, but that's an unpopular opinion. I will die on that hill. I think Donald did genuinely care. He just was not good enough for a club the size of Sunderland, and I think it was recognised that it was right that he left. But I will agree with you, Methven is a twat. I don't like Methven at all.
But this ownership, the questions on this ownership, obviously.
Brilliant, absolutely. I mean, you kind of fault them. I mean, Dravers has had some criticism from me in the past, again, for the lack of investment from everybody. So, but fair play to him. He's had that plan for a young lad, got his head screwed on. He's got a good background, with his dad and his mum and what have you. So he's seen it all. So, go on.
Bar the black and white bar slip up. We'll just that blip in history.
That's the big blip.
That's the only big error. But to be fair, he came out and apologised and got it right. And since then, there's been a complete change around. So,
But we all love the club, especially when they let us go there and use the Legends Bar to film and
yes, absolutely.
Projects.
You've redeemed yourself there, Cairo. Well done, mate. To me, well, obviously, because ever since I've got into football, because obviously I didn't get into football till my early 20s, but so I've known Ellis Short, Donald Methven, and KLD. So by default, by the comparison to them lot, he's comfortably the best. I think what's nice is that, if you look at it, right, I stand by, I thought Donald did care, but he wasn't good enough, let's be honest. Methven, chancer. Short was short-sighted, to make a bad pun. Let's put it that way. He was someone who often just looked at the next appointment and everything. He didn't have a clue about football. Absolutely not. But maybe I've got more animosity towards Shaw because I'll never forget that last season when he could have helped us avoid relegation and didn't. So thanks, Shaw, you wanker. You subject us to playing Accrington for 4 years. But moving on from that. But
when did you say your era starts? Sorry, my brain just had a melt.
Mine started at the end of the start of the 2010s. So it was like when the latter stages of Bruce, effectively. That was when I really.
So you were oh no, yeah.
So it was still. So Shaw was still at the club for about another 8 years at that point.
I feel old that you've never been part of the Bob Murray ownership.
Well, yeah, I know what. Obviously, he's responsible for the Stadium of Light and everything. That's why I don't have the attachment to the likes of, say, Roy Keane as a manager because I wasn't in the football then. So I'm like, well, But anyway, I think you can't fault KLD. And I've given KLD. One of the reasons I defended Speakman, for example, so much was because I felt, well, actually, I don't think KLD's given him a lot to work with. And I felt at the time that KLD in League One, I got it because you don't have in League One, I understood it because in that league you should barely have to spend anything really. So in the Championship, I thought once we readjusted ourselves re-established ourselves in that division, I wanted a bit more. But now in hindsight, when you look at KLD, ever since that big error in the Cup derby a couple of years ago, I don't think he's put much of a foot wrong since that point. And I think I think what's great is that if you look at the Sky Sports interview, it was before the Everton game in November, and it was on Sky Monday Night Football, and he was saying something like, "We wanted to try and target. We would love a top 10 finish if we can do it, and we'll see what happens in January, something like that." But they've got ambitious plans, and I've always said that for me, where I believe Sunderland should be is please no, no. I think if you look at it. KLD is someone who.
Remember that from DME?
Oh my god! Yeah, but you're right. I think I've lost my train of thought now. Oh yeah, no. I think, cheers, SJ. No, I think KLD you can't knock it, and I think there is a genuine longer term plan than beyond just the next year or two, really. And I think what's quite good is that the actions have backed up because it's easy to have the words and everything else, but the actions have generally backed it up for me, and that's what's really impressive. And it seems to me that we are genuinely not content with just being here to make up the numbers. And that was something when we were constantly just avoiding relegation by the skin of our teeth, that I felt we were in the Premier League, but we were existing rather than actually competing. Right. And this season so far, we have competed generally better than what we thought we'd done. Bear in mind, the Premier League has changed so much since we were last in it. It's a lot more physical. The quality's much better. It's no wonder promoted teams the last couple of years in general have struggled. So for me, I think easily the best that I've known in my time.
Here's a question for you then. So, if we'd won that playoff final against Charlton that season, we got beat last minute. Where do you think
when we lost and I had to drive all the way back?
But where do you think we would have been?
I had an 8-hour coach journey back to the northeast.
So if we get promoted that season, obviously Donald was in charge then. Where do you think we would have been now?
Back down. Back down. They would have never invested in the same way. We didn't have the structure. It was a different kind of model completely. We'd have gone up. We'd have done what all the relegation teams do: go up, buy a couple of players that are not getting games elsewhere, never quite gel together, and go back down. And
we'd have been in the Championship, wouldn't we? So we'd have been in the Championship, wouldn't we? So
I think it would have still been yo-yo into the Championship. I don't think we'd have made it into the Championship.
For me, that would have completely depended on if a takeover happened in the summer. That summer, I think a takeover fully would have happened that summer had we gone up, and I think history would look back on paper at the likes of Donald and Methven, even though Methven in particular I didn't think deserved it, but they would have looked back quite highly at that. I think, but I always will still stand by.
Change the club into a 90s dance party.
Right, oh god, God, try and build people up and get the rave going on. Oh my god, no, let Dave the Rave do that. He can actually rave, Charlie. You can't. But no. For me, I stand by the team we had that first year should absolutely have got promoted, and for me it was criminal that it didn't. But I can see where Mike's coming from. I think a lot of it would have depended on external investment or if a takeover happened. I think what might have helped is if, say, we'd got taken over and then the first Championship year we consolidated and stabilised, then who knows? I stand by that we would have got back to the Premier League at least 2-3 years sooner had we not fannied around in League One for 4 years.
I feel like a lot of owners and potential owners looked at Sunderland and thought, look at the size of the stadium, look at the size of the fan base, look at the potential it has.
Infrastructure as well.
I buy in, I get them moved up a league, and I sell. Quick profit. And I think that's what they've always looked at. And I think this is the first ownership we've had where they've gone, no, we're going to go up and keep going up and just stick with them.
That's what I thought Donald was. I thought Donald, if we're getting promoted in that season, he would have sent us the first opportunity he got.
Definitely. Yeah. Cash. Yeah. 100%.
But that was the thing, because I think Donald
Could be worse. Could be Mike Ashley.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, well, Donald, I think, had openly admitted he can't fund the club beyond League One. So I think that, and that's where I feel like.
And imagine getting up there and he not being able to land a sale. That's imagine us trying to compete. Then that's why I thought we would have yo-yoed even at that lower level, not yo-yo to the Premier League, yo-yo down between.
Okay, so to follow that up with a question, then, do you think we're much better off for it now? Although at the time it was torture, are we much better off now having been in League One for 4 years, where we could completely reset and go again?
That's what I'm saying. 100%. I mean, ideally, you wouldn't have wanted the 4 year. But that was like 2 year too long for me. But I think
do you think it would have been more tolerable had that reset happened in the Championship rather than League One?
No, exactly. I think it didn't need.
I could have lived being in the Championship for a number of years if I knew how deep the problems were. And you go, right, okay, sort them out first, restart again. But it was the fact that we were in. With all due respect to clubs like this, we're playing fucking Fleetwood and Accrington and Gillingham, and for those clubs, playing us would have been great, I am sure. And we deserve. And by the way, I've always said we deserve to be there, absolutely. But it doesn't mean we belong there. They're two very separate things. So if we'd been in the Championship rather than League One, then I think I would have handled it much, much better. But I think in the long run now, maybe that was. What's the phrase? Sometimes you have to sink so low to then get to the high. Yeah. Well, we've definitely experienced that now, haven't we? So yeah. I think they were.
It's just a shame they were filming the entire series of Sunderland Till I Die during that downward fall.
I mean, I must say, for anyone who's not, watching it back now, it does make good TV, I must admit. But yeah, what I would have loved, right?
It's Martin Bean, dear me, man.
Oh, Jesus. To be fair, I thought Ellis Short stitched him up quite a lot, Martin Bean, but he was bloody hopeless, wasn't he? Like, I couldn't, and for me, what would have been fitting if they'd done a fourth season of Netflix, Sunderland Till I Die, but it was based on the playoffs last year. Because it started with us exiting the Premier League and it would have ended with us returning there. Yeah. It would have kind of summed up the 8 years in 4 seasons.
Yeah. Full I mean, I think the reset was always needed. And I'd said it even as a fan, as we were struggling at the bottom of the Premier League. Part of me thought when we go down, at least that could be a bit of a reset. We need to clear out some of this old guard that have embedded into the football team.
Change the culture.
We went up and it was like we were embedded with it. It's like if we'd have gone up this time with the players that got us up and stuck with them, which a lot of people wanted to do to reward them. Yeah. But that would have created that let's constantly struggle again. Yeah. So that brings me nicely on to the next question, which is it a good idea to rip the heart out of a club and replace those who got us to where we are? Or is it a necessary step to push to a higher level, like Farke being a great Championship manager, but not the best in the Premier League?
Might keep Leeds up, to be fair.
I think he's done I think to be fair to him, he's done
if he keeps Leeds up, he's done a stellar job.
He was looking like getting the sack one a few games ago, but he's turned it around since that defeat in Man City. They've gone on from strength to strength, and I think they'll be safe this side. I think they'll do enough. But I mean,
I think if you're looking at just put it this way to answer that question. Well, okay, look at the playoff final team in front of us, right? So, again, replace 09 with Meth and whatever. But if the team that started at Wembley was our regular team in the Premier League, let's be honest, we would have finished 20th in a comfortable distance, really. I think...
And this is what we've always done, though, because we've had that loyalty, which, as Sunderland fans, it's kind of ingrained into us, We fall in love with loan players, and stupid stuff like this. And we like that loyalty.
You want your turn in the Premier League, mate?
Yeah, we like that loyalty, but we've seen how the flip side of that, how this has now worked so well for me.
Yeah, that's it. I think I'd have been interested to know what would have happened if, say, Sheffield United had beaten us, how they would have done the Prem, because they would have gone straight back down, but they wouldn't have had the scope to invest to the level I think we would have done, because I don't think they make huge sales, like for huge amounts of money. So I feel like they would have, and they might have even had the loyalty. Chris Wilder, for example, as much as I can't stand the guy, he strikes me as someone who will stick and defend by his players at all costs. And I wonder whether we would have done that in the Premier League to a certain level. Whereas, I mean, the team that started at Wembley for us, who's there that's playing now regularly? Hume, Ballard, and Lefay, and that's it, I'd say. The rest of it's completely new signings.
The ripping the heart out of the club, I think, is definitely the wrong thing to say, because I think this is what's turned around with our club so well. if we'd have done what we've done this season with different signings, it could have gone drastically wrong. And we could have had 11 strangers on the pitch missing every pass. But they must be selling this club so well to potential signings and orienting them everything when they come through the door, showing them the history. They must be doing something so well, because as soon as they've had 1 or 2 games, it looks like the club is under their skin. Look at Xhaka. You could have ripped anyone out of that team that got us promoted, put Xhaka in, and you haven't lost the heart. You've increased it 3 times. Yeah. It's just superb recruitment and superb selling of the club to new players.
I get what you're saying, though, but I still don't think on all the other signings have all bedded and done well. But without Xhaka, we don't have the season what we're having this season, mind. We're still in the bottom half for me.
And
you say that, but without Xhaka, maybe somebody else would have stepped up into that leadership role. We also become very reliant. I mean, Siddiqui probably is reliant on Xhaka now. And
I think that's the reason why we didn't sign Henderson, was because we knew Xhaka was coming. If Xhaka wasn't going to be coming, I think we'd have gotten Henderson.
Do you think that would have been a clash? That would have been too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. Yeah,
that was. I think was either one or the other. I think that's just the way it panned out. Xhaka was first choice, but I think Henderson was there if we didn't get Xhaka.
But if you look
we,
at it,
we love you, Henderson, but we prefer Xhaka.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, well, I really wanted us to go for Henderson when we got promoted, because if you told me right after that game at Wembley, oh, by the way, you're going to sign Granit Xhaka, haha, you've drunk too much booze. There's no way that's happening there. But
that's the danger, Michael. That's the danger. The nostalgia is the danger to Sunderland. If we'd have gone up and signed Henderson and Mvia and all these nostalgic players that bring back
obviously
good memories, we'd have had a squad of 40-year-olds blowing out their ass after 30 minutes.
Remember when we were going, there's not enough experience in the squad. Right, there's not enough youth now. There's too much experience. But yeah, so I think the thing for me is, you've got to remember, like, whoever sold this club to Xhaka as a promoted club deserves £1 million bonus or something, because that is incredible to be able to put. And I know that apparently he said in the quote that he wants to go somewhere and kind of suffer, really, to maybe prep for a managerial career. But think it through here. There is not a cat and hell's chance a promoted club should be able to get Granit Xhaka to sign for them. And it comes back to the point of why I keep saying this club's got such potential, because as a promoted club, we have been able to go in and get Leverkusen's captain, who has played for Arsenal only 2 years ago before this season and has been an invincible winner season before last, and Bayer Leverkusen was still in the Champions League now. And we've been able to get him as a promoted club.
Here's a quote for the internet. Sunderland is like herpes, all right? So once you've got it, that's it. It's under your skin and you're never getting rid of it. Yeah, you can hide the symptoms all you want, but we are completely herpes. That's what it is. And we do. Yeah. I think this club gets under your skin and it proves it so much. There's people that watch that documentary. If I turn around to you and said, you're not into football, Michael, but I'm going to show you a documentary about a football team that's going to struggle, going to have all sorts of drama off field and on field, and constantly not get promoted and go down and down and down. That doesn't sound like I'm selling the football dream to you.
No.
But it turns somebody like Ricky Gervais from not bothering about football
at all
he
to really
falling back in love with football. You know,
there was another thing,
it gets under your skin, this club. It really does.
Another quick side note is that Wrexham fans should be thanking us for that, because apparently the guys who bought them over, one of them, Rob McElhenney, watched Sunderland Till I Die and was inspired by Wrexham. So Wrexham, well done. Thank you very much. You're welcome. We inspired you to get out of the National League. But that's another thing, though. Like, the best way you could have sold, it just got me laughing there, because imagine the alternative way of saying Sunderland Till I Die is married man with 6 kids. You've got to try and build people up and get it in there. No, Sophie. No, we fucking get the number, and if they don't get it, it doesn't matter. You could just put some of the best quotes of it. But what was? Don't underestimate probably the power that documentary's probably done for our global appeal. I mean, I think.
But you know what that was? That was nothing to do with the ownership. That was nothing even to do with the players at the time. That was to do showing the fan base, the community, and how much it means to people.
And it showed us sticking by the worst point in our history as well. And I think that's what I mean. So I think the great thing for me is, and I agree kind of with what Wayne said, I think, remember, without Xhaka, Nori Mukiele probably doesn't come, because they know each other from the Leverkusen days last season. Does I'm trying to think who signed after him. Does Omar Alderete come? Does majority of the players we signed after Xhaka come along to the club? That's the whole point. And the great thing about this summer coming up is that because we're likely to still be in the Premier League next season, we should be a far easier sell this summer than we would have been last summer. Don't think last summer would have been an easy sell because of the fact that, promoted clubs have struggled the last 2 years. Sunderland have been out of the Premier League for 8 years. We had to go up through the playoffs. We've had less time to prepare than Leeds and Burnley even. So there's a lot that had to be done to sell. But clearly something about this club, as I've always said, with the potential it's got, there is something there for players to make it an attractive destination. And I like the fact now that people are starting to actually, non-Sunderland fans as well, wake up and say, maybe me talking about top 10 in Europe isn't delusional, like some of the mags will probably say. Oh, you've never been in Europe, so you should never compete for it. Well, you shouldn't have won the Carabao Cup then, should you? So, it's a bollocks argument to make that. So, for me, like that's just what I came back to it before. I said when we were in the Prem last time, I didn't want to be here we were just making up the numbers and existing. Basically, all it was last time was, right, beat Newcastle twice, finish 17th, good season. Now, the first bit, yes. The second bit, not so much. So, I want to do the beating Newcastle bit. Keep that, but then progress a lot higher than 17th. That's what we should be aiming to do. So
that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
Both
exactly.
of them things.
And can you actually imagine, and Mike would love this, where you both would with your passports. Can you even imagine a European football on a Thursday night at the Stadium of Light?
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm more looking forward to going for Spain for the weekend, to be fair. But yeah, the Stadium of Lights, you're talking about shivering under lights on a Thursday night. I'm on about going to Spain for a long weekend.
Really? You not want to go to Kazakhstan and meet Borat?
Azerbaijan,
Kazakhstan, Borat, yeah, Sunderland in Europe.
It's nice. Right, in an effort to expedite, we've got 2 questions left. I'm going to give one to each of you and we'll just have a single answer. Okay. So the first one I'll go to Wayne. Do we need to prepare for a Xhaka replacement?
Obviously we've got to, haven't we? Obviously he's 33 now, coming up with 30, so obviously he's not going on forever. So yes, we have to prepare, and I think the club will have that in the back of their mind. I think they'll already be preparing. You'll probably see in the summer we'll probably make a signing in that area to replace Xhaka. So I'm 100% we have to prepare, because we've already seen in this little mini run when he's not played how much we do miss him. So we need somebody to step in my opinion.
I hope we've got under his skin enough for him to step into a management/assistant management/coaching role at the club as well.
To be fair, he's probably doing that already. And you can imagine him on the training pitch, he's probably doing that already.
Oh yeah, definitely. As a captain, you have to, right? So, as a true captain. Thank you. That's awesome. Cheers, SJ. And the last one goes to you, Michael, for your friend Scott. Do you feel that you can carry on with your transfer policy, buying relatively young players, or could I be wrong on this thought?
I think you could, as long as you balance it with the right experience. It's not so much as well just about buying the younger players. It's about buying the right characters as well. That's another thing that goes under the radar with what we're trying to do. I mean, look how together this squad generally feels. And bear in mind, for a bunch of people that were strangers to each other, you look at it and you go, at the start of the season, the fact they've gelled together so quickly, the fact they have bonded seemingly so quickly, like even something as humorous as like when Brobbey scored against Palace and he had the cramp thing and then everyone was laughing at him in a sort of a bantery sort of way. That's bond, that. You don't build that overnight. So I think as long as you sign the right characters and balance it with the right experience and you sell at the right time, yes, I think you could.
Yeah, definitely. And with the experience we've got at the moment, any young player coming in able to learn off the likes of Xhaka and stuff like that, it's a selling point for the club.
Osama Dembele, you fancy coming along, mate? We're spotting with you. Go on, get yourself over to Sunderland.
I just don't want more salad. Right, okay. In efforts to get to Wayne's bed as quickly as possible, not from my bed, his own bed.
I was going to say, no. I don't think people want to know what you're going to do to Wayne in his bed. No, let's not go that far. That's for OnlyFans. That's for that.
OnlyFans and SAFC. Oh, that's a grim thought.
It's got a ring to it. It's got a ring to it.
It's got a ring to it, but that's us three sat here. They're doing exactly the same thing, just with no tops on. Nobody wants it.
No.
Definitely not for me. No way.
Unless you donate enough in the street. No, I'm joking.
No, not even if you do that, there's not a chance I get me top off of OnlyFans. No way.
Right.
I'd scare people off subscriptions for life within 2 minutes.
Let's quickly look at Oxford, because when it comes to a cup game, we could see potentially a lot of changes. We could see some new starters, or we've got 7 days till the next game. We could see a full strength squad looking to really make a good go of this cup run and not hit a potential banana skin. So what's your thoughts going into this one, Wayne? Would you not mind seeing the new keeper get some game time, or do you just want us to be going all out and not risk it?
When I put my team on my review earlier, I hadn't Elborg in my side, but listen to Radice de Brice's press conference, he's kind of gone strong, which I'm pleased about. If he was going to kind of not be bothered about the competition, we would have done it against Everton. We would have put a reserve team out there and went out. So I think the club as a whole want to have a right good go at the FA Cup this season, which is really, really good to see. And I think we're going to go strong. I still think we will. As I already said, Alderete is not going to play them on Sunday, so we will make changes. But I think it'll be the core of the first team with just a few changes. You probably see Luke O'Neill play. You probably see Chris Rigg play.
Dennis Serkin.
Serkin will probably play. Wilson will probably play. But apart from that, we'll probably see Angulo. We'll probably see Talby, Diarra and Rigg in midfield with Hume, Getrauda.
Tabby? Do you think we'll see Tabby?
Well, he said he's going to be in the squad, so there's a chance we'll see him. But you'll probably see Hume, Getrauda, O'Neill, Serkin as a back four, Diarra, Rigg, Talby, Angulo, Lafia, and probably Wilson up front. Still a strong team that should be more than capable of taking care of Oxford. But I wouldn't have been adverse to seeing the new keeper.
What's your thoughts on lining up against Oxford, Michael? Is it a chance to play these players without risk because we should be beating them even with a B team?
I think if we went into it that mentality, we would lose. As in, not in terms of should be beating them as in we have God-given right, but I mean as in like no complacency. But I know the point you are making. I think for me, I would agree with Wayne. I think I would go strong, but maybe with a few changes. So, for example, rest Reynildo, put Serkin in there. Maybe rest Mukiele and Alderete. I'll say if you had a back four, so I'd start Roofs personally, because I do want to go strong. But I think if you had like Hume, Ballard, 09, Serkin, then I think that for me is more than good enough to get the job done. As long as we can, defend well enough. I would start. I mean, again, I keep saying I'd start Gertrude when he keeps on not starting. So if Gertrude doesn't start, for example, then I'll probably go. Maybe Siddiqui. If we need to give Diarra a rest because he's still coming back to playing football, then say Siddiqui or Diarra, one of them two. Rigg, Lafay, maybe, and then you put in maybe like Talby and Gulu up front, and then obviously you say Isidore or Mayenda up front. I think if you're going to do it like that, I want a damn strong bench in case the game isn't going well. Then you've got players to call on, and then you can say. So imagine if, even if it was, say we were 1-0 down, God forbid, or if it was 1-1 or we're level and we can't break Oxford down. What better to bring on than say Habib Diarra coming on, Brian Brobby coming on, and then hopefully the class difference will show. So I would personally go full strength as much as possible, but with the exception of having Serkin, 09 and all that playing there, and maybe Rigg as well as the likes of say Isidore or Mayenda personally. So I think it's a big opportunity here, and I think if we were in Burnley's position or say Forest's position, that's probably a better example, or West Ham's, I could understand say sacking off the cup to an extent. But because we're on 36 points and it's looking very unlikely that we're going to get relegated, why not go for it this year? Exactly. I would even happily take finishing, say, 13th or 14th if we got to an FA Cup semi-final, for example. I'd still think that'd be a very good season. Maybe not in Mike's eyes because we're in Europe, but in general, for most of us, that would be a very, very good season for me. So I think Sunday, as long as we approach it with the right professionalism, on paper we should win. We've just got to make sure that we really earn it because we don't have a God-given right to win. We've got to go out and prove that we can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wayne, if Xhaka's fit, does he get some minutes? Is it a good way to ease him back in rather than starting him straight away?
No, I don't think so. I think he's got no chance of, but I think he's still in another 3 weeks. I think him and Traore are still in another 3 weeks. So there's no way he'll feature. And even against championship teams, I wouldn't be playing him. What the championship like
ankles,
kicking it a bit. So no, I wouldn't risk him at all, even if he is fit.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mike, can I ask you, what do you reckon of Scott's question he's put in my chat here?
What
says how important is the cup, basically? We put it on the screen.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
How important is the cup for you this season? This is for for all of us already. How important is the cup for you this season? Or would you rather have a cup run or push higher up in the league?
Well, I think what you've just said there, Mike, I'd be quite happy with 13th, 14th in a really good cup run. That will be a fantastic season for me.
If the choice is winning a cup or higher in the league, then I'll win the cup. But I mean,
even if we finished 18th and got relegated.
If we get to a semi-final, it's just more heartache, and then we finish 17th.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
do
like,
get it.
oh, you know what I mean? It's yeah. I
Well,
don't
okay,
think I
Mike.
could
So
choose
say
between
if the
the
option
two.
was to win, say if the option was to win the FA Cup or go over a really good cup run, what's the lowest you'd be willing to take to facilitate that if it came to one or the other?
15th, 16th.
Okay, I can say. For me, I would say because I don't think we'll finish in Europe in the Prem anyway. I know, Mike. Sorry to break your heart. I don't think we will anyway. I'd probably say cup run, and not to mention it'll be quite nice for once if we. I think playing the semi-final at Wembley is ridiculous. By the way, that you should be playing at a neutral venue really. But if say we got to a semi-final, then and obviously that depends on beating Oxford, depends on who you get in the draw, depends on all those things. But if we happen to get to the semi-finals, what I think is going to be interesting is going to Wembley without it being a pressurized game. Because let's be honest, the League One playoff final against Wycombe, I was bricking it because I couldn't bear being in League One for a 5th year. The Championship playoff final, I was desperate to win because that was our best chance for me to get promoted, and I didn't want us to blow it. Whereas here, it's like if we got to an FA Cup semi-final, we played Aston Villa, for example, and hopefully Villa win tomorrow, by the way. But yeah, if we played Villa in the semi-final, for example, I'd expect us to probably get beat because of Villa's quality. But I can enjoy it a lot more. Because, if we lose, so be it. We're having a good season anyway. But, yeah, I mean, don't get us wrong. If it was a choice to finish... All right, here's one then. If it was a choice to finish in top 10 or going for a cup...
Determined to keep you up all night, Wayne.
Absolutely. Of course I am. All right, then. Ask Wayne first. If it was top 10, or say we finished like 14th, 15th, but a really good FA Cup run, and by that I mean semi-final to final, what would you say?
I'd still take the semi-final. I'd still take 13th, 12th or 13th, 14th and a really good cup run. That's still a successful season for me. So,
yeah. I'd probably say the same as well.
I would agree from a fan's perspective, from a club perspective. I think the higher we finish in the Premier League, the
more
better
money you
quality
get, isn't
of
it?
players we can attract and the better we can look to sell our ambition. So that's
the
only caveat.
We are going to get to the final this season. You do know that. And do you know why? When we got to the cup, when we got to the final in 1992, who did we play in the 4th round?
Was it Oxford?
Oxford away.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
And we also had a Hummel kit. So there you go. And there's your sign.
So is that you saying we're going to play Liverpool? Are you going to play Liverpool in the FA Cup final then?
In the final.
Listen, I don't know what you're talking about, Wayne. That was a different cup. That definitely wasn't the FA Cup. That was the Coca-Cola Cup. It just changed from the Milk Cup.
No, Mike, come on. You can't say about it being the Coca-Cola Cup. I mean,
the FA Cup in 1992, when we got to the final, we played Oxford.
I thought it was Coca-Cola Cup still then.
No, it was the FA Cup when we got to the final in 1992. We played Oxford away and wore the Hummel strip.
Can I just I'll have you both know, whether it's Coca-Cola Cup or FA Cup or Carabao Cup or whatever, not one of them is prestigious as the Papa John's Trophy.
Correct.
On that note.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about delusional.
So we all want a good cup run is the end and the bottom line, and we are looking like we're seeing that, especially how he pitched up against Everton. So we shall see. Hopefully no banana skins here. We're going to get the people's predictions coming into the chat now. So before we get them, Wayne, what's your prediction for this one?
I've gone strong. I've gone comfortable win. I've gone for Oxford 0, Sunderland 3. I think we'll have more than enough if we approach it right. They're second bottom of the Championship. They've only won 3 games at home this season.
Staying up.
They've got exactly. They're trying to stay up. So for them, that's right down there in their priority. So for me, it's a 3-0 win. Done and dusted. Move on.
Michael Bowers.
Every time I say a clean sheet, we never keep one. So I'll say we won't, but I will go. But I will. Okay, I'll say we'll go 1-0 down, but we'll come from behind to win 3-1. I think we will get the job. I think as long as we're professional, we'll get the job done. I think Oxford will make it quite a tough game. They'll make it a very scrappy, sort of physical game. But I think our quality hopefully will have enough to shine through in the end. I think we'll win 3-1.
That's okay. You're all too optimistic, so now I've got to step the game up.
So what are you going to say? We're going to lose on penalties now.
5-0. I'm going to go 5-0. You're right, Wayne. I'm going to go 5-0 wearing the black kit. That's what I'm going to say.
By the way, Scott, the Leicester fans put a 5-2 win for Sunderland. So
But I'm going 5-0 based on all the factors you're talking about and stuff like that, with them being low down in the Championship. But I do genuinely think part of our mentality is still old Sunderland. We're a gulf above them teams now, in my opinion. We've not gone up like Burnley, and we've still got half the Championship. We're a Premier League club. It's as simple as that, in my opinion, right now. And they're a massive. They're almost a full division away from us, kind of thing, and more. So for me, 5-0, that's what I'm going for.
Miles,
So let's see.
I love it. Miles is on board with what you're saying.
Last time we went there, we got beat 2-0, didn't we? That was the season where the back end
I
of the
will
Championship
point out
season.
the circumstances there was, I think,
On that
Luke
bad
did
run.
commentary in the earlier game, and if Oxford won, they stayed up. So it was completely different circumstances there. But you are right, we did.
Yeah, right.
If you can't get a ticket, just hire a van and stand in the car park, because there's always that.
Didn't someone do that in the lockdown year? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Wasn't like we won 2-0, 09 in Gooch score, but some Sunderland fans just had a van and just stood
van.
fair play to them.
There
That
we
was
go.
hilarious.
Let's organise the midweek Mackems bus, and we'll all just stand on top and we'll do live
Where's the
commentary.
OnlyFans and SCFC funding this trip, hiring a van driver and driving us down to Oxford?
I can drive. I've got my license. I'll drive the van.
There we go. Right, let's get the chat's predictions before we end. Looks like we're very optimistic with this one. Jimmy Paddy's gone 2-0 to the lads. Steve Hewitt's gone 3-0 to the lads. Johnny Cool's gone 3-0. SJ's gone 3-1. We get an away win. So I'm doing this on my own because Conrad usually highlights them. So sorry. 3-1 to the lads. Aguero first scorer. 3-1 win. 4-0. Miles of Sunderland, he stepped it up from you guys. 4-0 to the lads has gone Leslie. Scott has gone 5-2, as you said, Michael. 2 past roofs by Oxford. I mean, I think that's ambitious. Prediction for Oxford 2-0 to Sunderland from Gemma Craig. We have a saboteur in the midst. I'm not sure what you're watching. Each to their own. I'm just scrolling down, see if I can see any more. I don't want to miss anyone. Don W's gone for 3-0 to Sunderland. And 3-0 to the lads has gone for Tam. Sunderland win 2-1 in extra time. I mean, I feel like you feel like we're Championship Sunderland still. Yep, surely 3-0, says Miles. 3-0 for me. Not in the black kit, Mike. Not in the black kit. Get on, Mike, says Miles.
Let's break the curse of the black kit.
And Oxford 0, Sunderland 4, and TJ has pointed out Macclesfield were 5 divisions away.
We were a different Sunderland then, though.
Different Sunderland, and obviously don't think we took cup runs seriously for a long time, so I think we are doing that now. I think I got everyone's predictions in there. Sorry if I didn't, but I one-man army trying to control the admin here. But if you do want to be in a chance with winning some goodies at the end of the season, don't forget to check out our preview video and put your predictions in the comments of the preview video. Conrad can't go through and document all these, so put them in there if you want to join the league. I'm not going to put the league on screen because I don't think he's updated it, because he's got 2 sets of scores to go on there. So we will see that in the next one. 6-0 Sunderland. John, you had to go one over me, didn't you? Right, sorry. 8-0. No. I love it. I feel like my optimism's infected people a lot, so that's good. Right, I think that's about it. We've had more than time. Conrad would have been unconscious by now. He wouldn't have even lasted as long as Wayne has. Hardcore. Wayne, what's coming up on your channel this week?
Not much really. It's all being done. So we'll have the match review after the game on Sunday. I might do a show on Monday just to have a bit of a recap, and then we've got Bridging the Gap should be back Tuesday. We'll be on Wednesday, and then it scans full circle again. So, aye.
Let's go around again. Same for you, Mr. Bowers. Anything planned on your channel? Random lives that you don't tell us till the last minute and you're suddenly live.
Oh, did I tell you I'm going live right after this? No, probably a live stream at the last minute, probably after the game's finished, and talk about hopefully how we got through to the 5th round. So yeah, but that's mainly what's going to be happening here. But yeah, thanks very much for having us on. Love you all a bit. Love the lads to bits. Great doing these, and it was great to keep Wayne up for an extra hour as well. It was all worth it.
You
on our channel. on our channel. I've just done a match day vlog. So's Wayne for the last game. So make sure you go and check them out. Please go and watch mine because Conrad's numbers have got way more than my vlog. So he's lording it up over me. So please go and add some more views.
The vlog against Arsenal was cracking. It goes over 8,000 views. Absolutely fantastic. Like cracking.
I know, yeah, but he'll never let me live it down, Wayne. You know he won't. Mine's on like 350. It's like nobody wants to see.
Conrad never let you live something down. Wow, imagine my shock.
Whatever you do, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for keeping us going in the chat with all your likes and everything like that. Whichever channel you're watching on, whether it's Michael Bowers 541, Only Fools and SAFC, Black Cats TV, make sure you've liked, make sure you subscribed to at the channel you're watching on and all the other channels. It's great giving up our time every week for chatting about this, usually on a Wednesday. Just throw that out there. Steve, you're late. 4-0. All right, I'll get you in.
Frenetic Friday to midweek Mackems.
Other than that, we'll see you next time on Midweek Mackems, which should be Wednesday, right? Is everyone okay for Wednesday?
Yes, it is Wednesday. It only wasn't Wednesday last this week because obviously with Liverpool, Sunderland had to be played on a Wednesday. So hopefully we're talking about an FA Cup win.
Hopefully I get to play Bobby many times as I do a live commentary for Oxford on Sunday.
And
so
hopefully we're going yippee-yi-yo up the Villa.
Definitely come and join me for the live commentary. It should be a laugh either way if you're not managing to get down to the game. Wayne, Michael Bowers already jumped the gun and said his goodbyes. He wanted to leave 10 minutes ago. So would you like to say your goodbyes?
Michael wants to get to bed, not me, but
I'm all right, me. I'm happy to keep going for another hour if you want.
Just to kind of echo what Michael said, thank you very much to everybody who's subscribes, watches. It's greatly appreciated. We keep saying every week we wouldn't have a show without you watching. So keep doing it. Also, remember, keep checking out Spotify as well. The numbers on there are growing. It's on Apple Podcasts and Podbean as well. So if you want something boring to get yourself to sleep, stick it on and we'll sing you to sleep as well. So, but thanks very much.
Wayne's going to send you to sleep by saying Wayne's going to send you to sleep by saying he wants to go to bed.
Come and chat to us on Discord as well. So we're over there as well. So thanks very much, everyone. And we'll see you in the next one.
Midweek Mackems, we're back on the show. Talking Sunderland and everything you know.
Conrad's got the numbers, proper stats machine. Mike's optimistic, living out the Mackem dream. Bowers keeps it steady.